Gaming news today is all about setting expectations. First, AC Shadows marketing is heating up with more and more looks at gameplay, and details about progression and customization have come directly from the studio in an article. We'll take a look at some of the details as well as the new gameplay. Second, Space Marine 2 speaks to whether or not it will become a full live service game. Given the amount of content that the game has continued to add, their answer might surprise you. Third, CD Projekt Red spoke specifically to the design of Ciri and how they haven't changed it, with the Witcher 4 trailer still drawing scrutiny, because this is the level of discourse in gaming that we have to deal with today. It's of the utmost importance, and yeah, they had to respond. Anyway, I also have a game for your wish list and your radar. As always, if you enjoy this content, a great way to help it out is to quickly hit that like button. If you're in the live audience, it helps. If you're watching later, it helps. We're really close to a huge goal as well of Member Plus and above. Those are people directly supporting the channel with a membership. Click join and pick the $6 Member Plus tier. We need like 10 more people to hit a huge milestone on the channel. And let's get into this. So what's going on with AC Shadows? So thank you, Jor Raptor. He's done great coverage of the game on his Assassin Jor Raptor channel, and he's put together all the footage here, so appreciate him. Go support his channel if you're looking for more AC Shadows coverage and just Assassin's Creed in general. He's done a great job. Now, they published gameplay overview and an article about the game. And there is a lot here. Like, I actually think this game is probably going to surprise people. I made a prediction this morning. I don't think this game is like headed for Game of the Year with like a 9 or a 10 like on Metacritic. It's probably going to land in the mid 80s. And I think that's a good win for the franchise, a good win for Ubisoft. I don't think it's going to fix Ubisoft's problems, but I certainly think this game is probably headed for better scores than the campaign against it would like to see. Now, they talked about mastery, something coming to the game, and they said that, quote, each weapon tree allows you to improve and expand your skills by learning new combos, increasing weapon efficacy, or unlocking deadly abilities. As for archetype trees, Yasuke can invest in his samurai training to unlock new ways to be versatile in combat, such as switching weapons mid-combo. For Naoe, developing the shinobi or assassin trees unlocks new ways to evolve stealth and assassinate foes. So the purpose of this, they say, is to give you more player freedom. They say that, quote, with the unique mastery trees, we want to give players the freedom to dedicate themselves into a specific weapon, playstyle, or archetype, and ensure they can deepen their mastery of it. The points you invest in a mastery tree also unlock additional bonuses for that weapon or archetype, further reinforcing your progress. So this really sort of, to me, sounds like one of the things that I enjoyed so much in Rise of the Ronin. I'm really looking forward to testing this out, like really leaning into a couple of weapons that you like and just ignoring the rest, and then also investing in mastery of those weapons. Now, this also leads to something they call abilities. You unlock abilities for the weapons within their mastery trees. Each weapon has 2 ability slots for the active abilities to be assigned. Now, they did say that the most advanced abilities, you have to unlock them by completing certain tasks in the game. This again reminds me of Ronin and how you had to like deepen your bond with certain characters, and then they would train you, and it would make certain weapons and stances better and stronger. It would basically level them up. Now, they have videos showing off lots of different things like enemy resistance, gear quality, transmog, perks, exotic combat, stealth, and more. The more I see of this game and the gameplay, I'm just more excited to play it. It truly looks like a very deep and large game with, I think, 2 very distinct playable characters. The whole thing was topped off at the very bottom of their blog post. It had like a quick montage, like animated GIF, showing how you can sort of edit and customize your hideout. And it just really looks like a game that will honestly have something for everyone. Now, I'm not saying it's a game that's going to appeal to everyone, but within this type of game, they've seemingly built a lot of systems that can really give you a deep dive, or you can just completely ignore it and really have your own experience. So more and more, I think not Space Marine 2, that's our next topic. I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is shaping up to be a very good game. Now, when it comes to Space Marine 2, they're saying they don't want to become a full live service game, which is kind of interesting because they kind of are one. Debates about what constitutes as a live service game is sort of an ongoing discussion. Do you have to have a battle pass? How often do you have to add content or new things to do? Well, Space Marine 2 has actually done a lot of ongoing content. At launch, they had a very impressive roadmap, and they continue to add and update things to the game. But Eurogamer had an article titled, "No, Space Marine 2 is not going to become a live service game." That's not exactly the quote, so let's look at what they said. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 developer and publisher Saber and Focus has acknowledged his fans had a cold response to recent changes, stressing to players they were, quote, not looking to transform Space Marine 2 into a full live service game. Now, apparently this is related to some negative feedback, and this is what they stated. "We saw that many of you mentioned FOMO generated by the events. Rest assured, we are not looking to transform Space Marine 2 into a full live service game. The items available through events will be available later for everyone. We want community events to be a way to unlock the items in advance for the most dedicated players, and not to be a source of frustration and stress for everyone." So here's the thing. It sounds like in their mind, a full live service game is one where stuff comes into the game and then goes away, right? Essentially creating an environment where fear of missing out, that's what FOMO stands for, and players really rejected that. So I don't necessarily think they're saying we are not a live service game. I think they're saying we don't want to become a full live service game, meaning if we add content to the game, it's not built around the identity of, well, it's live service, you got to come and play right now, or you're not going to be able to get the items, right? So in my mind, they're drawing a distinction between, yep, we're live service, but that's not the totality of the game. A full live service game would be you got to be there or you miss out, and they're saying they don't want to do that. So props to them for receiving that feedback from the consumer and making changes. Speaking of receiving feedback and making changes, CD Projekt Red has responded to the claim that Ciri in The Witcher 4 had been modified due to negative feedback. If you remember the incredibly intellectual and thoughtful response that people had to this trailer, claiming that she was quote-unquote ugly, since that's what we talk about now. Well, they were trying to claim that the original character and version of her had been changed. Now, I've gone to great lengths to show with other images that she looks very different throughout this trailer. The initial shot here where they introduce her is obviously very intense. She's very angry, and the light cascades across her face in a way that makes her jaw look very prominent, and it's not that flattering. Later in the trailer, there are shots of her that are far more feminine and far more flattering, and she looks a lot like the character from the first game, well, from The Witcher 3, just older. A new deep dive from the game. They were doing a deep dive into The Witcher 4. Well, the CEO of CI Games, that's the studio behind Lords of the Fallen, he was claiming that CD Projekt Red had listened to feedback and had changed the character. Now, I was quick to correct him, and thankfully CD Projekt Red has spoken to the issue. Surprising, like literally nobody. They didn't really need to say this, but that's where we are. And also surprising no one, the CEO of CI Games just deleted his tweet. He did not correct. He did not retweet and say, oh, hey, they've posted a correction. They have not changed the character. CD Projekt Red's game director said the following: "We have not modified it. What you're seeing is raw footage, without facial animation, lighting, or virtual camera lenses. While it's still in-engine, it represents a work-in-progress snapshot taken before we applied cinematic touches for the purpose of that video." So there you have it. They have not modified. They have not made changes. Another day, another false narrative destroyed. And this was in record time. It was like the day that it was claimed, it got destroyed. And so I wanted that to be officially reported on the channel, because we are going to just continue to commit to knocking these sorts of false narratives down and just doing it with truth. There's no reason to go attack anybody. You just say, hey, this guy said this, and it is not true, which is what I did. And thank you, CD Projekt Red, for clarifying, because there's nothing like having false narratives just kind of hang in the air needlessly for a long time. Now, as far as fiction goes, this is one that you're going to want to check out. This is a game for your wish list and your radar. Split Fiction arrives this week, and I got a review copy. My wife and I have hit a little over 10 hours. I don't know how much further we have to go. I wish I would have requested the review code earlier than I did. I will have a review first impressions video for you tomorrow. We are looking into how we could do a full playthrough on this channel. We typically do that type of content for members only. If that's something you're interested in, that's another great reason to pick up a Member Plus membership so you don't miss out on that content. And it also supports the channel directly. And it also makes it easier to do all that extra content. Like, I'm usually working full-time throughout the week doing live streams and videos for you guys. And then if we do those extra streams in the evening, it can be a bit of a task. She's also very busy being a mom and homeschooling and all sorts of other things that she has to do. So doing those evening streams can be a bit of a challenge, but we would enjoy sharing this experience with you even after the embargo drops tomorrow. That way you can see like every jot and tittle of the game. So again, Split Fiction this week, March the 6th. Be sure to check out my review. It'll hit tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. So thank you guys so much for being here this morning. That's the news. Now it's time for the discussion, and there's all sorts of things to discuss. If you're not interested in any of the things in the headline or the thumbnail, that is totally fine. If you're like, don't care about AC Shadows or all the other things that we're talking about, you can bring up anything else that's going on in the gaming press. 33 Expedition 33 previews are dropping as well. It sounds like there were some technical issues, but overall people are really, really enjoying it. Yes, I am seeing that Forza Horizon is like trending as like, is it the number one? I know it was up there on pre-orders. It was in like the top 3 or 4. Somebody put a screenshot in our Discord. So yeah, that's not surprising at all. Gran Turismo 7 has been incredibly successful on PlayStation, and a lot of that audience is probably just chomping at the bit to play another good-looking car game. And Forza Horizon 5 is one of the best looking out there. So that's not surprising at all. We will obviously have to wait and see, what the reception is, the tech breakdown from Digital Foundry. Anyone here play Forza? Is it different than Crew Motorfest? Yeah, people in chat could weigh in on that. I am not a car game guy. I've always enjoyed them from a technical perspective. I've always thought, holy cow, they just look so stinking good, but they've just never really appealed to me. Because if it's like a racing game, a sports game, or a fighting game, I've just never been able to vibe with them. And it's probably because back when I tried to play them, I played against people that beat the tar out of me, and that can kind of turn you off to them. And starting the week off, I didn't even see this until just now. Han shot first, and so did you. Joker Quinn with the first gifted member of the week. You guys went insane last week. Let's see if you can trump last week or outdo last week. And John Lipkowski with 9 months and a member VIP. That's a renewal as well, and he's going to bump the line. We need like 10 people to upgrade or sign up brand new for Member Plus to hit a huge milestone on the channel. Thanks for being part of my day. Love the channel community. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, John Lipkowski, for all your ongoing support. Both are really good and perform well. Yeah, I think those two games can coexist. Like, I don't feel like Forza Horizon and GT7 are in some kind of like a heated battle here. I think they can coexist. They're very different games. From everything the car guys in our Discord have said, like, very different games, and there's no reason to feel like one is a threat to the other. Like, I'm sure the tech breakdowns will be interesting from the perspective of, like, what's the PS5 Pro getting from these enhancements compared to like Series X. I think that's going to be a bit of a sting for the Xbox guys. 48 months. That is 4 years. Cat, your little badge now is just the joystick. No more circle. You broken free. That's a long time, Cat. VIP. Time flies. Thanks for all the great content. Thank you, Cat, for all the support over the years. You sent us the housewarming present when we bought this house 5 years ago. You've done big member bombs ever since. I truly mean it, man. Some of y'all have just been here through thick and thin, and it means the world to me. Ashton with 42 months for Truth, Justice, and Coffee. That's right. Appreciate it. Did you guys know that you're actively supporting a tabloid by watching this channel? That's news to me and probably news to you. So thank you for your patronage. Paul says, even though the same style of racer, one is an open world social arcade racer versus like a sim like. Yeah, I think it's okay for them to be different, I do. Gameplay when? What do you want to see gameplay of? Predator gets us to the first 5 of the week. We're now a 20 bomb away from that first 25. Sometimes that tantalizes somebody to get the member train going quick. And Predator hits 4 years as well on a VIP. A lot of people hitting 4 years, which is crazy. That's a crazy amount of time that we have been on this channel, and thank you guys so much. A lot of you don't realize that we were originally on Twitch, and then we were on another channel, and then we were on this channel. So the fact that people are hitting 4 years is such a testament to your ongoing support, and we greatly appreciate it. The title says AC Shadows gameplay. Oh, no. Sorry. There's new AC Shadows gameplay. Like, here, you can watch it. I'll show you the rest of Joel Raptor's video. You guys should definitely go support him, though. He put this all together. So props to him for the editing work. This is all official from Ubisoft. They're diving into all the various things that you can do. Trey Gaming is now at a member plus. Says, let's go. Great content and conversation. People nowadays want the beautiful lie over the ugly truth. Keep your foot on the pedal. Thank you so much for doing that. And that bumps the member count to 6. Thank you, sir. For keeping the dream alive and keeping the member count high. You guys are the best. And a VIP from Ganks. That's almost 4 years. One more month. 4 years next month, big dog. That'll be 4 years here. And this summer mark 8 years that all together being part of such a great community. And with the best cult leader. Thank you very much. And Broken Lobo does a member plus. And that gets the member count to 8. Thank you guys so much. We're just taking a look at the brand new AC Shadows gameplay that was put out. Again, props to Jor Raptor for putting this video together. I want to play this game so much. Like, I know people have been hating on it, but I just really think they've done some great work here. And I would imagine that the combat, there were some issues with combat. People said, it didn't feel quite as fluid and as good as they wanted. And you would hope that by the time it comes out, it's even a little bit more polished. It was GJX who said it's not on the level of like a Sekiro and Tsushima, but it's the best Assassin's Creed combat he's played. And I think that's high praise. I don't need this game to be Sekiro or Tsushima. I want it to be its own thing. And a member plus from Brett, Reforge Gaming Community United in smacking down the disinformation. Thank you so much for that member plus. And then a member plus from Feed Chicken, 28 months as a longtime Feed Chicken. And Talica with 33 months and a member VIP, almost 3 years. Can't believe it's gone by so fast. And that is 3 more, so that takes us to 11. These are almost all renewals, guys. That's a great reason to be at member plus or VIP. We do not have to live off the gifteds. You know what I mean? You can support the channel directly with that member tier. You don't have to gift. It is a huge help. From a technical point of view, Forza lets Playground port the Forza Tech engine to PlayStation and iron out all the issues before Fable. Come on, Paul. That's probably true. Thank you, Paul. Do you think it'll be 8.5 over or an 8.5 for fans? I wouldn't be surprised if this thing lands in the mid to low 80s Metacritic. Yeah, I think it's going to struggle to land high 80s. I think people's expectations are either too high. There's also going to be a lot of people that are just kind of predisposed to not like it. Not even for the issues of like the hate campaign against it. I think like long-standing AC fans are going to say, this is just another game that's a huge departure from what Assassin's Creed is. So I think it's going to be a bit polarizing, and that'll probably pull the score down a little bit. I'm thinking mid to low 80s. If it lands higher, I mean, that'd be amazing. I'd be happy with that. Yes, I saw Foxy Games' video. I appreciated the shout out. Listen, a bunch of you guys gave me love and retweets on Twitter. I posted a video yesterday that it did quite well. It's resonating with a lot of people. I had people from the industry liking the tweet and giving the tweet love, and I think that says something. So, it was my non-aggressive way to sort of push back on the notion that I'm a grifter or a tabloid. So maybe that's the last time you want to call me that. I don't think that name calling like that is necessary. I don't think labeling like that is necessary. So I just posted a clip of me describing behavior and basically saying, this is what I think, and that's just what I'm going to continue to do, is I'll just describe the behavior and give you guys the facts about what I'm observing, and then you can make up your own minds. So I appreciate people that were kind of leaning in and showing support on Twitter yesterday, and those that continue to. It's Monday morning, so a bunch of people are waking up and giving the tweet a bit of a boost, so thank you for that. Excuse me. Catwalk with 2 years of memberships. 2 years has gone by pretty fast. Here's to many more. Thank you so much. And that takes us to 12. And we're welcome to talk through anything you guys want to talk about. Again, we're not out here going to like name names and besmirch and call names. I'm just going to stick to the facts. And if that makes me a tabloid, so be it. I don't ever use Twitter anymore. Had to log in to view and like your tweet. Well, thank you, Gordon. I won't play it or review it, mainly because I refuse to play Ubisoft games after falling for the hype of the first Assassin's Creed game. And there was false advertising with Red Steel 1 on Wii. Man, you're really holding on to a grudge there. You are really holding on to a grudge there, dude. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Adam Russell with 14 months. We'll always support you, Lono. No one does it better. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. And the first gifted bomb of the day. We had a single from Joker, and now we got a 5 bomb coming in from Dylan, and that takes us to 17. Adam, if you want yours to count, you got to be on Member Plus. Same to you, Stephanie. If you guys are getting gifteds, that's totally fine. That's still a form of support. That means you're here, enough to get one, which means you're supporting the channel. And Stephanie hits 20 months. Love your content. Will you do an AC game review as well? I pre-ordered and can't wait to play. Love you. Love you too. Listen, I would love to do a review of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but Ubisoft kicked me out of their partner program because somebody emailed them about all of the lies about me from 2020. So they're allowing false claims from 5 years ago to sever a business relationship, which was an interesting thing to admit in an email that somebody basically engaged in business disruption, like contacting Ubisoft, so that they would cease working with me. That happened sometime last year. And I didn't say anything at the time, but I don't really see a reason to not talk about it. I found it to be pretty unprofessional. We didn't get a response. We couldn't get any dialogue about it. Somebody just saw that I was getting review access to Ubi Games, and they emailed Ubisoft. So, and that is business disruption. That's not ethical or cool, but there you have it. And I have been in Ubisoft's corner and did a great review of Avatar. I thought it was a very fair review and a very good review, and I put a lot of work into it. But, there you go. $37 from Behemoth, and he says, we like Lono because he is a man seeking the truth, highly intellectual, safe for work stream, and respects other content creators while remaining true to his belief. Please show him support. Yo, Behemoth, thank you. That is a huge super chat, and that's very kind of you to say. I forgot to set the super chat goal. Let me set the super chat goal. I will gift a member. Every 5 super chats, I give some back to the community. They would love to make Scalebound one day. I mean, that's just a passing comment. I don't know if they're ever going to do that. Yo, what's good, Feed? What is good, Feed? I see you in the chat. AC Shadows looks decent. I mean, I'll be honest with you. This entire section here with the armor, I mean, I just think that looks I don't know, man. I think that looks really good. Like, the level of detail and the work they've put into this, I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of really, really digging this game the more I see. Like, I was worried that the more we were going to see, like, the worse it was going to get. Like, I was kind of worried that, with how they kind of handled everything, it was a concern. Utterly soulless UI. It's a soulless UI. What do you mean? It's the same one they used for, like, Origins. They've been on that style for a while. I'm looking at the details of the armor. What are you looking at the UI for? What are you looking at the UI for? I'm looking at the armor, brother. You know what I mean? They got Yasuke in here looking dope. And Stephanie upgrades to Member Plus. And we count upgrades as 2. And that gets us to 19. We are oh so close. Mark Anthony with 21 months. Keep the good content coming. Thank you very much. That is the plan. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel so much. We're 40 likes away from 200, and I appreciate it. Yeah. Even Post Up gave me some love on Twitter, and I said that I appreciate it. I really, really did. I said this morning in Morning Coffee that I feel like there's a difference between fans who were like ride or die with Xbox that eventually decided enough was enough. Like, if you're not even going to give us exclusives, then what are we going to be loyal to you for? And he seems to be on that wavelength of like, listen, once they abandon that, like, why am I going to sit here and cheer for them? We have 588 people on Member Plus and above. We need 12 people. We are right there. Never thought I'd see the day. Post Up and I have never had a crossword. I don't feel like he's ever had a go at me. I've never had a reason to have a go at him. He jokes back and forth with Jay, and it's like, I've never had any issue. Obviously he was big cheering for, Xbox for a while, and I don't have a problem. I've made that clear. You can cheer. You can cheer for a brand. That's fine. Being a fan is fine. You know, I think there's a distinct difference between being a fan and astroturfing. I do. I think there's a distinct difference. I think there's a distinct difference between industry veterans, you know, who have access and get flown out and get to do all these amazing things. I think there's a big difference between them and somebody on Twitter who just really likes Xbox. Like, I don't think that they're exactly the same. And when I have in mind, when I talk about astroturfing, I'm talking about people who have influence, reach, and platforms, and they used it to, you know, astroturf for Xbox, and I believe they will continue to do so. And I don't think they like me saying that, because just watch. It's easy to predict, like I said, when Phil Spencer does his next round of interviews, and when Xbox does their next events, and whatever he says next, they're just going to parrot it. And if they don't, good for them. Good for them. I celebrate anybody who breaks from the party line and speaks their view and their truth. I celebrate that. Everybody can have that moment of like, all right, I'm kind of done doing this. I'm done playing this game. You know, I have respect for anybody who's done that. Yeah, Louis Love, I'm not interested in fighting. I'm not interested in clapping back. I just retweeted it and kind of laughed at it. It's like, I don't know why anybody would call me a tabloid. I don't understand. I feel like there has been very, very concerted efforts to discredit me and call me a grifter and to label me as all these things. And it always feels like this weird propagandistic attempt to discredit me. It's like, rather than engage with my argumentation or what I say, or, you know, my viewpoints, you just attempt to discredit me with labels. I think that's a pretty consistent playbook that we've seen. It's effective. And I'm just not interested in it. I'm not interested in getting into that. It's like, I'm not going to try to discredit, and I'm not going to try to malign. I'm just going to make observations about what's been going on. And that's why I published that 4-minute video on Twitter. It was me making observations about what has transpired for the last couple of years. And I don't say anything in the video that is false. I merely speak in truth about what has happened. And the public can make up their mind. They can decide whether or not they think that I'm giving them an accurate summation or summary of what has happened. And you can decide which you believe. Do you believe my 4-minute summary? Do you believe it's an accurate summary of things that have transpired? Or do you believe that I'm a tabloid that just says things for clips? Which do you think it is? Use your own judgment. Use your own assessment. And you just come to your own conclusion. Can you play the clip in here? I'm not on Twitter. I mean, it's a 4-minute clip. I don't really necessarily want to suddenly do that. I mean, that's not really something that I like. Here, let me replay a portion of my stream. Like, it's pretty long. You and IGN need a ceasefire. I will never cease fire from defending the truth. I will never put down my arms. Are you kidding me? No. There's no peace treaty with an outlet that puts things in headlines that are false. No. I want retractions, and then we can talk. What do you mean? Like, no. There is no peace treaty in the war on truth. What do you mean? You can't just say things that aren't true. No. I'm not going to cease fire from that. If you put out headlines that are false, I'm going to tell the public, hey, this is not true. If that's scandalous, then where are we? Where have we fallen? Like, what ring of hell are we in if I can't point to something and say, this isn't true? If that's a problem, if that's a scandal, if that makes me a tabloid, then so be it. I mean, label and try to discredit me all you want. I'm not going to shy away from that. The only thing I'm going to shy away from is I'm going to do my best. I'm going to really do my best to not be like, that you're a liar or that's a lie. I'll just say, this isn't true. This is a misquote. This is a false frame. That's all I'm going to do. And if that's scandalous, and if that's a problem, fine. Be upset about it. I'm not going to back down, and I'm not going to stop. Need to prove it's not the truth? It's easy to prove it's not the truth. When they misquoted the Sony earnings call, just go look at what they actually said versus the misquote. Boom, right there. IGN has a headline out there. They never publish a retraction. They never publish a correction. They got community noted, and then they just reposted it. There, I just proved it to you. Second thing, they claimed that PS5 and Xbox sales were plummeting, and a day later, the report came out that PlayStation had one of its best quarters yet. Their sales are not plummeting. There you go. The facts are there. It's all in black and white. It's easy. It's easy. I've said very many times, listen, it's very, very easy to prove things false when there's no effort to prove them true. They just merely state them. And it's like, but that's not true. All you got to do is look at this. All you got to do is look at the facts. They're available. It's all these are all publicly viewable records, reports, and documents. This was like when we covered the FTC trial and the Activision Blizzard deal. All I ever did was pull up the documents and look at them and quote them and talk about them. And you would still have people that would be like, no, Game Pass doesn't cannibalize sales. And I'm like, internal documentation from Microsoft says that they do. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? It's in black and white. Lono is clearly lying when he points to folks saying one thing and then 2 years later saying the exact opposite. Unfortunately, I think that as soon as you called Destin a lackey for Phil and then said you didn't attack him, then more of them responded since they are in that circle with Destin. I mean, okay. All right. I've decided that at this point, all right, I will only use words like this is true or this is not true. I will only do things like, okay, I'm going to summarize what was said. Okay, this was said, then this was said, then this was said, then this was said. I'm not gonna, oh, you're a lackey or you're a this or you're a that, right? It's in a live fire exercise when someone's targeting you and signal boosting somebody who harasses you on Twitter, and then, he asks a salt farmer to come to his rescue. It's like, yeah, that seems a little pathetic. So, maybe I went too far and said, I feel like my phrasing was, you seem like or sound like a lackey for Phil, but going above them and not using specific words takes away all their ammo. Well, that's what's interesting, isn't it? That's what's interesting. That's the playbook of the internet troll. The playbook of the internet troll is to hit you, smack you, call you names, and then the minute you answer back, you're the bad guy. So it's just a form of gaslighting, right? You trigger somebody to the point that they get frustrated and they finally get, lash out. And you're like, yep, see? And it's like, in the initial exchange, all I did was say, this is not true. Oh, and by the way, you guys can all verify whether or not I was accurate in that breakdown. The Colin Moriarty interview with Yoshida is available now to the general public, and it's no longer, you don't have to become a patron anymore. I think you should become a patron of Sacred Symbols and support it. I would if I had the time to listen to their stuff. Their shows are just too long, which is a great value to their patrons, but it's too long for my schedule. But I had multiple people coming in this morning and saying that, like, yeah, the interview with Yoshida proves that you were correct, that he never once indicates they're targeting the PC market in America and China. He specifically talks about China. You were the person he was talking about in the video some weeks back. He didn't put a name on the bullet, but I bet it was Lono because it was too much of a coincidence he mentioned it after I read your response. What are you talking about, Mr. Chosen? I have no idea what you're referring to. Team Ambush says, no, you didn't. I can't remember my exact phrasing. I don't know. Like I said, a hit dog barks. I feel like I put my finger on a big giant nerve. And I've been here before. And it's like when a group of people decide that they're going to set their sights on you and they're going to, you know, try to isolate you, and they're going to try to, you know, discredit you with labels. Okay, you can try that. You're welcome to try. People more powerful than you tried this before, and it didn't work. So, I go ahead. I'm not in the business of getting into those trenches. I'm just going to keep reporting on gaming news and sticking to the facts. And some of that's going to require correcting things that aren't true. So that, you know what I'm saying? That's just part of the job. It's like, what do you want me to say? You know, I'm not going to sit here and be glib. Yo, what's good, ADR Zone? The day you stop exposing the buffoonery, count me out, so never stop. I was saying what you said was not out of bounds. Oh, not out of bounds. You were right to call him out, but I get what you're trying to do. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to, you know, live in accordance with my own beliefs and also trot out my own standards, and I don't want to go past those lines. It's difficult not to. That's what they want, right? They want you to feel labeled and isolated and hated because then you'll lash back out. It's a very manipulative playbook. It's like, well, if you signal the salt boosters, and if you signal boost a harasser, and if you call him a tabloid, well, he's going to get angry and he's going to lash out. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I will not be doing that. A tweet Destin did, and you responded to it some weeks ago, and then later on when he streamed, he said he had to correct someone on Twitter today. Oh, yeah. He has not corrected me. He has not at all substantiated his claim. It wouldn't be difficult to substantiate his claim. The Yoshida interview is very lengthy with Colin Moriarty. If you want to prove his original claim that I falsified, the interview is there and is ready and waiting, and it hasn't happened. To mention the U.S. in passing does not justify what he claimed. He completely misframed and essentially, without using quotations, he misquoted Yoshida. And I just find that to be a carryover from IGN's DNA, right? That just feels like IGN to me. It's like misquoting or misrepresenting what somebody said is quite literally what IGN does. And it's like, you did it again, you know what I mean? And that's like, I'm not going to stand for that. Not interested. At all. So, anyone else get the Evoke ad? I'm not seeing any ads for Evoke. Is that a game? We're 10 likes away. We are 10 likes away from 200 likes. Thank you guys so much for being here. Dino Lords found that a company that develops Paraworld, the current development strategy until Twins has been completely given a large studio so that you can share the loading of the site. I don't know why you're putting that in chat. Did you mean to put that here? I feel like you copied and pasted that for something. New Paraworld in 2026. Reboot of Paraworld. I'm not sure why you're coming here and sharing that information with us. Is there relevancy to it, or are you just excited about it? I'm not sure what you're sharing it for. Oh, it's a very naughty adult app that just played before your live feed. Really? That should not be playing on YouTube. Paul says they all clearly don't have real beliefs or opinions on the industry when they flip-flop and follow company's manifesto. Yeah, I saw that, Street Shadow. Rockstar's acquired the devs that fixed the GTA trilogy and a ton of new games added to the PS Portal streaming. Well, I don't think they're available on Portal yet, Street Shadow. They got added to the cloud. There's like 300 something games. Are they on the cloud for Portal now? I literally went and checked that day, and I couldn't play them. So when are you going to start doing stories on celebrity divorces? Like the tabloids. Yeah, I'm a tabloid now, so I gotta get to work. A lot of ads on YouTube lately have been pushing the boundaries. It's very weird. Yeah, I saw somebody complain about that on Twitter to them. They're like, why am I getting, advertisements for, corn? Which I'm saying the food corn because I don't want to say the other word. Lono, this came up like 2 to 3 weeks ago. Some crazy ads with women doing crazy things. Yeah, I saw that, Wired Rope. Eugene says they don't know what genuine opinions are. They constantly are going after people with genuine opinions. It seems like maybe they're mad they can't be genuine. No, they got added to the Cloud Street Shadow. I'm assuming they'll be in Portal soon. I think you have to own the games in some cases. It looks like they're testing the play your own library function. Oh my gosh, I would love that. Playing your own library would be a huge win. Would be a huge win for the Portal. It really would. Yeah, Eugene, I was talking about it a little bit this morning in Morning Coffee, and I think sometimes it's simpler than that. It was kind of like, I remember when you and I were discussing this about everything that happened in 2020, and like, it wasn't this gigantic, sinister, well-articulated, spy thriller plan to take down Lono. It was more, don't like him, spread crap about him, oh no, this got too big and too large and it blew up, right? It was more like, it was like a simple, like, don't like this guy. And so it turned into, something far worse after like years and years and years. And I think there's probably something very similar going on. You say, I'm not here because I agree with Lono on everything. I'm here because I believe his opinions are genuine. Yeah, because you and I have butted heads on some pretty sharp disagreements, even recently about things. And that's why I've never understood the people who call me a grifter. It's like, I believe everything I'm saying. I believe everything that I'm saying. Like, it's a genuine conviction about whatever it is. Like, pick an opinion that I put out there about, PlayStation's handling of PC or Game Pass or, hardware or exclusives, or, the early PSSR implementations and how, I felt like PlayStation should have had better quality control. Those are all genuine opinions. Like, I don't have the time to process and I don't have the ability to navigate what I guess people think that I'm doing. Like, I feel like they give me too much credit, which is weird to say. It's like you would need to be at a genius level of, like, genius level psychopathic manipulator to be able to sit here for multiple hours on end and I just talk extemporaneously off the top of my head. To do that and to do it in a way where it's like you're doing it and you don't believe it and you're just trying to be hyperbolic to get clips. It's like you're giving me way too much credit. I'm not that brilliant. I'm a good public speaker. I'm quick on my feet, but I am not at some maniacal genius level of grifter where in a live fire exercise like this where people are asking me questions and they're popping off in different chats and asking me for my opinion on different things, and I'm operating at like an AI-like machine level intelligence if you think I'm grifting and just saying things for a reaction. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sign me up and employ me as the world's greatest actor if I'm doing that. Because, like, Jiminy Christmas, like, I don't have the ability to do that. I just don't. I think you and Destin were talking about two different things. I think Destin was just inferring that since US and China are the biggest markets, that games ported to PC are targeting those markets. He didn't infer anything. See, this is the problem. You're being more nuanced than he was, which is why I think you're coming from good faith, right? The tweet did not do that. My issue with the tweet was he was speaking for Yoshida. He didn't say, well, based on this information, it would be fair to infer or assume that the two biggest markets that PlayStation's trying to target is America and China. I think that's probably fair. I still think Yoshida's making it clear. I still think he's making it clear that China's the target. Like, they're the big giant target. And a brand new member plus from Dane of Starfall, and that's worth 2 and gets us to 21. And another one comes in from Sven and gets us to 22. Thank you so much for doing that, Dane. 44 months from Sven says, every time I hit a milestone, I feel like Deckard Cain. I've stayed a while and I've listened. Maybe a little too long. Yeah, that's right. Stay a while and listen. Yes, so the exact quote that I took issue with, and I'm trying to find it right now. Here we go. This is it. So you're being nuanced and you're being fair. He says, Yoshida explains. So now you're speaking for Yoshida when you do this. You are essentially quoting him. You're doing paraphrase, which is a form of quotation. Okay, we're going to get linguistic on you. So you're doing paraphrase, which is a form of quotation. And when you do this, you should be, I think, rigidly accurate, because I think that's fair to Yoshida. And he says, explains that PlayStation PC ports are primarily targeting the US and Chinese market. Yoshida said no such thing. He did not say that. He was merely speaking to the size of the two markets and then specifically spoke on China. Yoshida never said anything to indicate that PlayStation PC ports are primarily targeting the US and the Chinese market. It is a misframing of what the man said. Me correcting him on that is not scandalous. It's not scandalous because Yoshida literally says that the console market in China is small and that makes PC crucial. Okay, Paul's ahead of me. The console market in the US is not small. So it makes Yoshida's comments nonsensical. It's like he's specifically saying PC's crucial to China because there is no console footprint right there right now. It's very small. And listen, what Yoshida is saying is so helpful because we're also seeing PlayStation take the same strategy with their India Hero project. Do you see? It's like they aren't targeting the PC market in the US in an effort to grow their console footprint because they already have a good console footprint in the US. But when they go to India and then when they go to China, they're taking a very different strategy. My question to you is this. If you think Destin got it right and I got it wrong, let me ask you a very simple question. Is there a US Hero project? Is PlayStation actively spending publishing dollars to put games on PC and PlayStation in the US market with US developers? Are they doing that? No. Why? Because that's not the strategy. They are making precision strikes. And see, oh boy, is this deep. If you really think about why this is twisting the noodle up so much for guys like this, and they don't see the nuance, it's because they quite literally think that the PC market is just this big, huge thing that PlayStation wants to leverage in a similar vein to Xbox. They feel like this is where the industry's going and this is where PlayStation's going. But when you get down into the minutia and the nuance of it, it's like, well, no. Oh my, are you missing the picture here? PlayStation's trying to do the thing that Xbox said wasn't possible. Xbox and Phil are talking about how the console market is stagnant, the console market's not growing, and PlayStation's saying, hold my beer. We're going to go into markets that are untapped and there's no console presence yet, and you're going to see that claim falsified. Oh yeah, the console market's stagnated and consoles aren't growing and this is where the industry's going. That's why I'm telling you, listen very carefully to this. That's why you don't want to do nuance and very, very specific breakdowns of PlayStation strategy in China Hero and in the India Hero. Why? Because it's a falsification of what they're claiming is true about the console market and Xbox's strategy. Ding, 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 ding. That's why you're seeing people act this way. It's right there in front of you. I mean, it's right there in front of you. We've been hearing all this year about how the console market's stagnant and you can't grow the console market. This is where the industry's going to have to go. And then PlayStation's sitting there thinking, what? Are you crazy? We're making concerted precision strikes, publishing in China and publishing in India. You're going to get to the end of this gen, and you're all going to wonder, what happened? How did PlayStation get more users? How did they do it? How did they just recently hit a record monthly active user if you can't grow the console base? If the console market is stagnant? This doesn't seem possible. Gonna be a big confusing narrative twist. Telling you right now. Consoles will disappear? No, they won't. That's not gonna happen. Do you understand how endemic like Nintendo and Japan are? Like, they're never gonna let that happen. They're never gonna let that happen. It's this idea that like everything is gonna be in the cloud one day. Listen, sure. 100 years from now, if tech is that advanced that you like attach something to your head and you just connect to the cloud and you just play games that way and you're like, well, there's no more consoles anymore. Okay, well, I won't be around for you to claim that you were right. I don't think in our lifetime you're going to see that happen. I don't think so. Maybe like my kids will be playing in a way where there's no hardware is just not needed. Internet advancements and infrastructure advancements might take place, and then you'll just be able to like instantaneously connect to things to the point that there's no more latency and there's no more problems of routing. Right now, like the American internet infrastructure is so woefully behind. It's got a stranglehold on cloud becoming that great. It just, I'm telling you, hardware, there's too many companies. Yeah, there's too many companies and there's too much infrastructure within government, within military, within like militaristic efforts and governmental efforts and even technological industrial efforts. It's all too dependent on hardware. You're not going to see tech innovation and hardware vanish into thin air because you're like, oh, the almighty cloud. It's like, are you kidding me? The companies that make these chips and these pieces of hardware and all the stuff that goes into your computer, a lot of that's also tied to, other things that are not going anywhere. Like, I just don't think so. I don't think you're going to see this eradication of hardware and consoles. Previews are coming in from Claire, Obscure33. Okami's got a breakdown here. Noisy Pixel says, takes inspiration from the JRPG greats like Final Fantasy X. A Visual Feast says, Eurogamer, innovative combat that adds a twist to traditional battle system, quick time prompts. You'd never know this was their first game. Now it has my undivided attention, says IGN. RPG fan says, I didn't want to be done. The gamer environments are visually stunning. April 24th on PS5, PC, Series X and S, and day one on Game Pass. Man, oh man, it's about to just heat up, dude. So, getting into a debate with somebody here on Twitter where I'll share it with you. I think he's being respectful, so I don't feel like showing these tweets is a problem. He says, I'm sorry, but exclusive games are objectively bad for the consumer. I will not defend them. I like consoles and console hardware, and I think those things are important, but I will not defend huge multi-billion-dollar companies that nickel and dime me, okay? So I respond because I don't think you can claim that they're objectively bad, okay? This is a subjective opinion that you're claiming is objectively true. So, I mean, philosophically, you're already making a bunch of this is erroneous from beginning to end, but we'll set aside philosophy of truth for another day. Okay, they can't be objectively bad for the consumer when they benefit consumers who like them. You are free to fight for your position, but to claim it as an objective fact completely ignores all the consumers who benefit from the narrow scope, focus, and quality of exclusives. Like, I like exclusives, Nintendo fans like exclusives, like, we get better games, I would argue, and developers have basically made it very clear that building for one system leads to better quality games, better innovation, and they tend to like it. So developers have literally said this, okay? I'm debating in this thread. Oh, are you really? Well, I appreciate Daniel. I've seen him around. I recognize his profile picture, and he's being respectful, okay? And I always like having debate with somebody who can, articulate themselves like an adult. He says, objectively, a system can be beneficial to a majority while simultaneously offering advantages to a smaller minority, irrespective of philosophical considerations regarding objective truth. Oh my gosh! See, we got a sharp one here, boys. Exclusive content is objectively anti-consumer. All right, here we go. All right, baked into your position, all right, is the presumption that if it benefits a minority, it is anti-consumer. It is anti-consumer. This is subjective opinion. And not objectively true. Like, this is a presumption, okay? So the presupposition of his position, okay, we're just breaking down argumentation here. There's no reason to name call or be unkind, right? We got an intelligent person here, okay? This guy's sharp. Baked into his position is the presumption that if it benefits a minority, it is anti-consumer. This is subjective opinion and not objectively true, right? You have to define what is anti-consumer. Because I would define anti-consumer as Monster Hunter Wild shipping at full price and not being ready. Right? Like, that to me is anti-consumer. This is why you're in my top 3. I appreciate that. So you have to define what's anti-consumer, because to me, getting a game at full price that's not ready and has to be fixed later, I actually think that's anti-consumer, because that breaks consumer trust and it breaks value transmission. Your unwillingness to buy a Nintendo or a PlayStation doesn't make exclusives anti-consumer. You are completely and utterly free to buy those devices. You have established your preferences, and you think if something grates against your preferences, it is therefore anti-consumer, making it subjective and therefore not an objective truth claim. I'm doing this on the fly, but I feel like that was pretty airtight. Yeah, I think that's airtight. I think you're creating a subjective starting point to arrive at your conclusion, making it subjective. It's not objectively true. And listen, you are 100% allowed to think that. Like, you cannot like it. You can wish that it were not true, but there's nothing anti-consumer about it. It doesn't line up with your preferences. Because I think it's ironically anti-consumer to want to force studios to make their games for all platforms. I think that's anti-consumer because it's going to harm the product. It's going to harm the product. I don't want a studio that's making the next God of War game to be forced or coerced into making the game for all platforms. And then here's the other problem with his position. We'll just keep going with this. The other problem with his position is, at what point am I allowed to exclude people? There are 150 million Nintendo Switch owners. There are more Nintendo Switch owners than there are PlayStation 5 owners. So does that mean PlayStation Studios now have a philosophical imperative on them to make sure the majority can play their next game, and therefore they must or ought to, we're creating an imperative here, they ought to create the game for the Switch 1 because there are more Switch 1 users than PlayStation 5 users. So I'm going to use your logic and say, well, the majority's over here. The majority is on, there's more people on Steam, there's more people on the Nintendo Switch 1. So now you're saying there's an imperative is an ought or an ought not. right? A positive imperative would be that you ought to. A negative imperative would be that you ought not do it. Okay, so you ought not steal. You ought to, be kind to your neighbor. Okay, so if you're creating this imperative that Santa Monica's next God of War, it's anti-consumer if they don't make it for all platforms. Well, okay, if you're going to base it off of the majority, then they got to make it for the Switch because there's 150 million of them there. That's double of what, the PlayStation 5's in circulation. And there's obviously way more Steam users. But who is my neighbor? Ooh. That's good. That's good. That's a really good reference. Yeah, to me, I think it's subjective and you're trying to make it objective. It's like, well, because I don't like it, I don't want to have to buy all the devices, then it's anti-consumer. Well, I don't want to sign up for all the subscription services, so Severance being on Apple TV is anti-consumer. Yes, I know it's amazing. I've heard great things. Like The Last of Us being on HBO is anti-consumer. Daredevil being on Disney is anti-consumer. I shouldn't have to buy all these subscription services. These companies that have spent their own money of investment, research, and development into tech, licensing engines, and procuring staff and talent, they owe their game to me. I shouldn't have to go over there. Well, what do you mean? Why? Why? Why do they owe you anything? They're bringing a product to the market. They can determine where it goes. Did you guys notice something recently? I did. I'm always kind of paying attention to verbiage and what I call language infection, where, streamers will start saying something and then everybody starts saying it, and all of a sudden everybody's saying these that's cap, and these other, everybody speaks in meme speak, right? I've also noticed that suddenly I'm hearing this phrase uttered. I heard it again today. It was first uttered by Phil Spencer, and then it was uttered by the new head of Xbox Game Studios, who did the podcast where they announced the Fable delay. And what he said was, and what Phil said was, that, and they're speaking for every developer when they say this, that developers want as many people playing their game as possible. And they both said it. And I thought it was really interesting, because I don't think that's the primary concern of a developer. I don't think dev studios are like, we want as many people playing this game as possible. I think they say, we want to make the best game we can make. So I think it's interesting now that Phil, and they're being real subtle with this. I'm telling you, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it, because it'll suddenly start getting parroted by the podcasters and the pundits. Right? All of a sudden, the astroturfing will start. Just pay attention to this. I'm getting quicker at this. I'm like, wait. Phil just said that, and now you're just saying that. Yeah, I bet you this starts getting said by the Bleed Green guys. Yeah. Here we go. They want as many people to play their game as possible. Oh, so you're speaking for all developers now. So you're speaking for the entire industry again. This is the new thing where Microsoft is attempting to frame the industry within their axioms of truth and their hierarchy, and they're being like, well, no, that's what every dev wants. And it's like, I don't know if that's true, because developers make games all of the time and they limit where it lands because their primary goal is making a good product. None of these people are saying they don't want as many. No. I'm not saying in the negative, Jake. What I'm saying is there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. There are thousands and thousands of games. Well, let's not say thousands. Let's just say stacks upon stacks of games every year that come out where the developer limits where the game lands. Why? Because their primary interest is making a good product. If all they cared about was if their primary thing was they want as many people playing as their game as possible, then they'd all be making mobile slop so that they could get as many people as possible in their game. And here's the real kicker. This principle that they're outlining, it makes me think of another thing that I heard. During the Xbox podcast, when Matt Booty said, there are games that are so large, they're larger than any individual platform. And he basically says something to the effect of like, that's really reframing how we think about things. It's really changing how they think about things. So when they're saying what they're saying, they're not speaking for developers and the mantra and the philosophical view of a developer. They're saying that that's what Microsoft wants. Do you see? It's all right there. I'm telling you, you got to pay attention to this stuff. They're basically saying what their philosophical view as Microsoft is we want as many people playing our games as possible, because the catalyst for this evolution of Xbox was Minecraft. And we know that Minecraft's MAU is ridiculous. I'm telling you, now they're saying, well, that's what developers want. Developers want as many people playing their game as possible. And it's like, listen, a developer's never going to say, I don't want a lot of people playing my game. They're never going to say that. But developers demonstrate quite clearly that they will limit the reach and the scope of their project for quality. Look at all the indies that land on Steam and only Steam. They're limiting the reach of their game because of quality. How many multi-plat games didn't go on the Switch 1? How many? A lot. Why? Why would you do that? Don't you want, according to Phil, according to the new head of Xbox Game Studios, don't you want every game to be played by as many people as possible? Why would you skip out on the Switch 1? Quality. That's job one. Indie devs sign up Game Pass deals for a reason. It's nothing about getting the most amount of players. It's sustainability. Precisely. It's so much more nuanced than just, we want as many players as possible. What's happening is, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, it's like I can see the frickin' Matrix. Microsoft's view of the market, they're attempting to make it seem like that's what the market should be. That's what developers should do. Their view of the market is, we want to get as many people playing our games as possible. So now what they're saying is they're saying, if you're not doing this, you're wrong. You're out of step. Developers, that's what developers want. Do you think when the developers working on the games underneath Xbox, you think that's what their primary goal was like, we want as many people to play this game as possible? Or they're like, man, I hope we can build a really amazing game, and we hope people love it? Here's why you know this is not a starting position for a dev studio. Devs will commonly say, and we say it as well, and many people say this, if you make a game for everyone, you've made a game for no one, right? If you try to appeal to everybody, you're going to end up appealing to nobody, right? So, really good products know their target audience. Are you trying to get as many people to play your game as possible when you build a game for a specific audience? Do you think From Software says that? You think From Software is like, we want as many people to play our game as possible. That's our starting position. No. They say, we want to build the best game we can within our identity and what we view as the best. Izzy says, I love to see you still carving out your space in the gaming community. Keep it up. I appreciate that. See, more than likely, there are people that would react to what I'm saying, and they would flip this all around, and they would say, well, Reforge Gaming is saying that developers don't want to get a lot of money and make a lot of sales and have a lot of players. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the inverse. I'm saying I don't think that's the primary goal of a developer. Like, we want as many people to play our game as possible. It's like, no. Their primary starting position is, we want to make the best game we can. And that commonly you see evidenced by, they limit the scope of where the game lands because it helps with their quality. It helps with the game's optimization. Releasing a game everywhere is not the same as having a game for everyone, if that makes sense. Sure, Jake, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's very common to say, know your target audience and then limit the scope so that you can build a really good product. You can see the philosophy just in full view from basically every first-party PlayStation studio. It's like, that's what they do. They limit the scope of the project and they prize themselves on quality. If you build a great game, you'll have a lot of players. Yes. Case in point, Capcom's quality on titles having multiple issues like Dragon's Dogma, Monster Hunter Wilds. If they had one platform, I think performance would have been much different. I have a video coming today about why I think Monster Hunter Wilds represents everything that's wrong in gaming right now. And I really hope you guys support that video later today. It should be ready. With our new way of doing uploads, Creature doesn't have to like scramble overnight to get the video ready. So I hope you guys listen to my opinion on this. It's not a hit piece. It's not. It's actually got a lot of positivity in it. But I want you guys to, I hope you guys support that video later and spread it around because it's, yeah. That game is it's just such an interesting experiment, isn't it? Such an interesting experiment. Alex Gamer's going crazy. In the 2030s, the first computers and neural networks will be available. Okay. Yeah, I don't feel like they're there to talk in good faith. Yo, good to see you, Brian King. He's from Icon Era, and he's always so kind to me. Thank you. And that gets us to 27 members already. I owe you guys a 5. Let us quickly get to 50, and I'll drop a 10 bomb. I owe you guys 10 members when we get to 50. Let's quickly get there. Get a couple singles. Maybe tempt somebody to do a 20. Let's do it. Thank you, Brian. I greatly appreciate you, man. Brian the Hat King. That's right. Just because the U.S. has more consoles doesn't mean they aren't also targeting PC market in the U.S. D-Tom, track with me now. I never said that PlayStation wasn't also targeting the U.S. PC market. I took issue with misrepresenting what Yoshida said. Yoshida spoke specifically to the strategy in China. He never once said that PlayStation's primarily targeting U.S. and China. He never said that. It's also hard to take that seriously when it's clear with the China Hero Project and the India Hero Project. The China Hero Project and the India Hero Project, it seems to me like they're not targeting the PC market as much. They're targeting those markets because they're doing day and date publishing on PC in China and India. I watched it from Last Stand Media. Brett watched it and he told me that Yoshida makes it crystal clear he's talking about China. I trust Brett. Is your pushback, but for the Chinese market there would be no push to PC day and date? Well, no, Yoshida makes sense why they're doing day and date in the Chinese market because there is no console footprint. Ergo, PC is crucial. It's why China Hero is a project of publishing. It's not PlayStation owned IP. It's not IP. It's not studios owned by PlayStation. It's a publishing effort in the Chinese market, day and date on PC. They're doing the same thing in India. I would love to see Lono and Colin in a discussion. Yeah. I've had some white whales in my history as a content creator, and almost all of them have fallen by the wayside, except for Colin. I still really love and respect him, but some of the content creators over the last 10 years that I looked up to and wanted to work with, yeah, not anymore. But I still really like Colin, yeah. I'd love to do a show with him. I would. It'd be fun. The entire 2-hour interview's on Colin's channel. I'll watch it tonight. Sony's trying to get mindshare in China. Yeah. As far as the economy, too, and the market in India, I just think it really makes it clear that's what they're going for. They're trying to go into markets where they don't currently have a footprint. People need to understand PC is PlayStation's bottom line when it comes to China's. Sony wants to grow. Others think it's a way to day and date. It's not a way to day and date. It just isn't. Yeah, it is clearly a very, very particular precision strike to go into a market that has not had consoles, and now they're trying to grow there. It's a direct refutation of all the claims that the console market's stagnant and you can't find new users. It's going to clearly show that that is not true. PlayStation's going to make it abundantly clear that no, yeah, you can get new console users. It's possible. Hang on, I'm getting all these. Get your YouTube earnings with PayPal Hyper Wallet. No, I'm good. We should all follow Satya Nadella's worldview. No more exclusives. I don't know if I would ever say I want to follow the worldview of the CEO of the largest corporation. I would rather follow the worldview of the King of Kings, but, you know, that's just me. I just... the CEO of the world's largest corporation. I don't think I'm going to live my life in accordance to his worldview. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just... you know, there are higher powers that I think matter a little bit more, but, you know. Do you want to know why Satya thinks that? Do you want to know why? Satya thinks that because he's the CEO of the world's largest software company. So, of course, he doesn't want exclusivity. It's antithetical to their business structure. Siege Master with the 5 bomb keeps it going and gets us to 32. We'll see if that's enough. I wanted a 20 bomb to 50, and I was going to drop a 10 bomb Siege. I was going to try and get a little train going. Yo, I see one of my boys from the Call of Duty days way back in the day. D-Tom says, I agree with you overall, but I think that is where most people get stuck in Destin's argument. Here's the thing. I just have such a hard time with this. Like, if it's not true, it's like, okay, so last night when we went upstairs to go to bed, I opened the fridge and I was like, oh, something stinks in here. And we knew what it was. There was some chicken and broccoli that needed to go. And I was like, let's just get rid of it now, babe. So she grabbed some Kroger bags. I dumped it in the bag. We tied the bag. I ran it outside in the frigid cold and threw it away, right? That's kind of how I am when someone says something that isn't true. I just immediately go, it's like, oh. And I it's not true. So why say it? Why? Does Yoshida ever say anything to indicate that that's like one of the primary PC markets they're targeting? No, he never says anything to substantiate that claim. It isn't. It just isn't. It isn't true. I cannot. Listen, I can't. I don't have the ability. I can't like plug my nose and be like, nah, it's fine. It's a false frame. It's a misrepresentation of what the man said, but you could probably infer that it's potentially true. No, it's not true. So why say it? That's it. It's so, to me, it's just simple. It's so simple. Is it true? No? Then what are you saying it for? China console market is just complex. Even the likes of South Korea PC is still bigger because of console restrictions and will likely never catch up. China will also be the same. Right, and they're probably making like long-tail projections here, Paul. They're probably thinking in 15 years, they'll be really glad they did the China Hero Project. Right? Let's just say, Paul, that they can get 15 million pretty regular consumers in China. 15 million. I mean, that's 15 million to add to the total. If they get to around 120 PS5 sold, and they go into the PS6 era, and then they end the PS6 era, and they're having like an extra 15 million of people that are like, hey, I really like that PlayStation console. I really like their games. You know what I'm saying? That to them is probably a win. China's so dense as far as the population goes. It's like there's so many people. You just need a fraction of them to be like, we like your console. Like, and in 20 years, you could say, hey, everybody really thought the console market had stagnated back there in the 2020s, but we made some pivotal moves, And now 15 years later, we have 15 something million consumers in the Chinese market. And then that generationally ripples out because they might then have their kids play the PlayStation. China has 700 million gamers. That's the real money. That's what I'm saying. When you have that level of a population within an economy, it's like you only need a percentage of that, and you're growing your user base. You're growing your user base, right? Okay, so let's look at this another way. A lot of the times when we have conversations about commercial success of video games, people will look at, Leviathan-like monolithic titles and they act like, well, that's the only way to have success. So they'll look at like the quantitative sales of like a GTA or a Call of Duty, and they think that like, well, then this game was a commercial flop because it only sold 3 million. Track with me on this. A lot of these studios would just be over the moon if they could get 3 million in sales, because that would more than pay for their next project or more. And when you look at the consoles, similarly, I think people make mistakes. They look at the size of the mobile market, they look at the size of the PC gaming market, and they just presume and assume that since it overshadows and is larger than PlayStation's console saturation or Nintendo saturation, they believe one will consume the other. This is false. This is not true. It's not like PlayStation's going to just slowly die because PC's doing well and growing. They're running in tandem, in parallel to each other, right? Look at what Nintendo did. Nintendo sold 150 million Nintendo Switches. Did that suddenly harm like PlayStation's ability to sell games and consoles? No, they were working and they were running in parallel to each other. Here's a great example. The explosion of mobile gaming. Did that shrink and steal from and kill or cannibalize the console market? No, it didn't. It didn't. They're different markets, they're different consumers, they're different value offers. So in my mind, that's where everybody's making the mistake of thinking that like PlayStation's thinking we can be solvent and profitable, keep our shareholders happy, and grow if the PlayStation keeps growing at these trajectories. And in order for us to grow at these trajectories, we're going to make precision strikes in China and in India, and we're willing to work with publishers there and publish on PC day and date. Do you see? It's like I don't think people think about it in the right way. I feel like they always frame it as if, well, PC's competing with PlayStation or Nintendo, and because PC's growing at such a rapid rate, eventually consoles will just be dead and we'll all be playing on PCs. And it's like, no, that would be like saying because mobile gaming is growing at such a rapid rate that consoles and PCs are going to die. It wouldn't make any sense to say that. Why are they thinking consoles are dying? Because one side of the equation, the green side, is being fed marketing. Like Xbox is marketing. Always. So when Phil Spencer says that the industry isn't growing and that the console market isn't growing and that he basically makes it seem as though, exclusives are bad for the consumer. Like, who does it benefit that Helldivers is not available on Xbox, right? I told y'all when he said that what they were going to do. I said, yep, he just blew the dog whistle. He just demonized exclusives. And it took like a year. And they all got in line. And now they're all saying the same thing. That exclusives are bad and they're anti-consumer. Okay. If that's what you want to do, if you just want to parrot what Phil says, go ahead. You can go ahead and be a Phil Spencer parrot, but I don't see that represented in the market. I don't. I see really good exclusives coming from PlayStation Studios. I see really good exclusives more than likely coming from Nintendo. We know that's around the corner. We see a mountain of exclusives on Steam. Now, they're not in like a contract or something, but like they limit the scope of their project and they have massive success on Steam because Steam's a huge market. They limited their scope and budget and they were able to bring something to the market. They were able to bring a product to the market, and then make a profit. And there's one company in the mix that's like, oh, no, yeah, consoles aren't growing and exclusives don't benefit the consumer. Okay, well, and now they're all parroting it. And it's like, Nobody else in the gaming world thinks this. Nintendo doesn't think it. PlayStation doesn't think it. And all those companies that make their games only available on Steam, they don't think it either. So that's one of the reasons I get so frustrated by it, because it's not rooted in facts. It's not rooted in market analysis. It's one company's marketing. Xbox is marketing to their consumer base as well as other consumers, and they're trying to paint this picture that what we're doing is leading the charge. Like, this is where everything's going. You know, this is better for the consumer. They're marketing. He's just marketing to you. He wants you to think he's doing something for you. It's not for you. It's for them. It's for Microsoft. It's for their bottom line. It's for their shareholders. None of these decisions are for you. They're not. Hadigan with 18 months. Exclusives are bad only for those who no longer get exclusives. Here's to a fantastic week. Thank you. And that gets us to 33. Like, I don't know how you could think that what they're doing is for you when it went from, we're getting ZeniMax to bring you more exclusives where Game Pass lives, and everyone's like, yeah. And then, yeah, we're going to go buy ABK, let us compete. And then they basically eradicate every value point of the console. Every value point that they sold you on is all gone now. And you're like, oh, no, yeah, they're doing this for the consumer. How in the world could you come to that conclusion? What was it pro-consumer to make promises about the Series S and then set a video to private? Was it pro-consumer to make it harder for you to buy a Series X because they were using them for cloud and a lot of you just ended up buying a Series S out of desperation? Was that pro-consumer? Was it pro-consumer to spend $100 billion and now they're beholden to margins and their shareholders and they're having to completely abandon everything they promised you for this gen? Was all that pro-consumer? Is making promises to you and not making good on the promises, is that pro-consumer? I don't feel like they've been very pro-consumer. I feel like as a consumer, I bought something and didn't get any of the things I was promised. That to me is anti-consumer. You broke trust. The value transmission didn't take place. Y'all are worried about exclusives being anti-consumer. I tell you what's anti-consumer is just saying whatever's necessary to get people's loyalty and money and then just changing a year later or 6 months later. That's anti-consumer. You want to talk about anti-consumer? We're talking about practice. Like, what are we talking about anti-consumer for? I'm curious to the reaction if Game Pass prices rise again. I mean, yeah, or if, yeah, I mean, day and date moved to Ultimate. I wonder, are they going to just start pushing people off of, what was it called? I forget what it was called, Xbox console or whatever its label is. Where as long as they kept re-upping, they'll keep day and date. I wonder if they're going to try and kick people off of that. It's really pro-consumer to put your best game and make it better for your competitor system. Yeah. Excuse me. Is showing a yearly roadmap and leading consumers only to never have... Yeah, is that pro-consumer? Exactly, Hadigan. Like, are all the roadmaps that never came to fruition but kept people on Game Pass, is that pro-consumer? Man, a lot of y'all right now are super consumed and fixated on pro-consumer. Where was all your pro-consumer mantra when Xbox spent the last 4 years not hitting roadmaps, shipping games below quality, shipping games at 30 FPS, making you wait, delaying games, making you convinced that a Series X was going to be something that it wasn't and it wasn't. They abandoned the power narrative. Where was your pro-consumer mantra then? Now all of a sudden you care? Now all of a sudden your pro-consumer balls dropped and you're like, yeah, now we care about what's pro-consumer. We're not going to hold the platform accountable for 4 or 5 years, but now we care about pro-consumer. The frick out of here. What's this Wu? That's a heck of a line. Your pro-consumer balls. I don't know where that came from. Meaning content creator, register, listener, review copies. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to put that in my Discord. Let's see here. English. United States. Main channel URL. Hang on one second, y'all. I'm just filling something out. Super quick. Number of followers. Okay. Thank you. Yo, it's good, Haseo. They're already making it hard to get Game Pass from Microsoft Rewards. I think what they're saying is it'll require more points, right, FCAT? So it's going to require more points to get it. So you've got to go in and like auto-renew. You know what I think they're trying to do with that, FCAT? I think some of those people are like auto-renewing on that base level that gets day and date. And if they fall off for 1 month, they can never get it back. And then if they want day and date, they got to go to Ultimate. Revisionist history. They were pro-consumer when they had a 50% hardware fail rate, and pro-consumer when the Kinect and the Kinect 2. And don't forget the Halo. The Halo! Gaming's no different than any other marketplace. The PC or mobile phone you're responding with completely invalidates your argument, says Lobo. He said, but a vacuum with exclusive features might appeal to a segment of the consumers. We have the choice to buy it or not. If we choose not to, that's not anti-consumer. Yeah, you are free to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. You are. If you don't want to, but you feel entitled to the next Mario Kart or Zelda, and you think it should be on PlayStation, if you think it should be on, Xbox, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's stopping you from buying the Nintendo Switch 2. You've made the decision as a consumer with your own free will. You have your own volition, and you've chosen not to buy the Switch 2. It doesn't make it anti-consumer that that's the only place you can play the new Mario Kart, new Zelda, or new whatever. It's not anti-consumer. It's there for you to purchase if you want. Your choices, your standards, your preferences are your own. They dictate nothing. They're not authoritative. Okay? You don't just get to be like, well, no. I don't want to buy that. I think those Nintendo games should be on my Xbox or my PlayStation. That's anti-consumer. No, it's anti-you. It's anti-you. That's not anti-consumer. Invoking new rule. Anti-consumer is confusing. Please use different words for the rest of your arguments to make your point. Oh, she's actually posting footage. Wow. What is this, Brooklyn? What are you mentioning me in? What's our boy Doc saying? What's our boy Doc saying? You want me to watch this, Brooklyn? Is that why you're mentioning me? All right, hang on. All right. Let's see what our boy Doc is saying. What you saying, Doc?
For the PlayStation 5 Pro, listen, didn't Phil say that the best place to play Xbox games was going to still be on the Xbox consoles? I'm pretty sure somewhere he said that. Now that's another lie. The PlayStation 5 is going to be the best. The PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be the best place to play Xbox games. I paid for your $500 box that you told me was the best Xbox experience. Go ahead, put games everywhere, because I'm not about exclusivity. But when you're giving the better versions of games to somebody else, dog, that's nasty work. That's disgusting. That's disrespectful. Xbox fan, I need you to listen to me. The loudest people defending Xbox right now are PC gamers. Why do
My man's clapping. My man's clapping at you.
you keep letting Xbox disrespect you like this? Have some self-respect for yourself.
Ooh.
Idiot, do you realize that now they're going to be able to say, I'm paying for it, that's why I'm getting the better version of it?
Oh, he's giving it to him, dude. Look at that look. Look at that look. That's like, say something. Say something, I'll smack you look. Like, he's like, say it. Say something. I like the self-respect line. I've said that myself. I'm like, where's your self-respect?
You would pay for the better version of a game, would you not, Xbox fan?
Yeah.
Would you not?
Well, maybe not.
Or be careful now. Is it okay for you to get the lesser version of a game because it's on Game Pass? Be careful how you answer that. Listen to me. Xbox is playing you.
Oh my gosh, dude. He didn't have to do him like that, man. He flipped it. He flipped it all the way around. I like the careful how you answer. I do that. I love that. That's a fun one. That's a real smart. That's like a 900 IQ play where you're like, careful how you answer now. That's good. Like the thing that I like about what he did was he really did flip the whole narrative upside down on its head and then suplexed it. It's like, listen to me. You're going to brag about people buying the game and you're not, but they're buying a better version. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, that's what I said. I said it's an awfully weird brag to be like, you're paying so we don't have to. And it's like, did you hear what you said? Like, it's like, do you hear yourself now? What are you saying? It sounds like you're saying you're a... I mean, come on. That's what it sounds like to me. You know what I mean? And that's not a flex, man. That's not a flex, bro. Doc Dark goes dark. Whoo-wee. Now listen. None of this means that Game Pass is like lost its value. Like to me, I think it's still valuable. I think, I'm telling you, my jump ship video, I still think the PC Game Pass is the best deal. Now, unfortunately, that the Xbox interface and store on that on PC, Jez Corden has been very critical of it. Props to him for that. He's been very consistent on like Xbox's presence on PC is just not excusable. What are we doing here? He's been very good about that. And it's like, dude, what do we, but that's still the better value. I mean, $11.99, as long as you can put up with, some of the rough edges there. But yeah, Game Pass now, especially now that you got to buy that Ultimate for day and date, it's just, to me, it's a different ball game. It is a different ball game. You're spending $20 a month to play lesser versions. I'm on my Pro, bro. I'm on my Pro, dude. Every 3 months, I've got enough to buy a game. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, Game Pass is $20. Every 3 months, I've got $60 to throw at a game. How many games are you buying? Lance says, he always said first, better, or best. He never promised all three. Either first on Xbox, better performance on Xbox, or best value. I believe that was the line. No, I don't think he ever said best value. He just said it was the CFO, actually. The CFO, Tim Stewart, said first, better, or best. Guys, could you get me to 300 likes? The likes are a little lacking. We've been going for about an hour and a half. Let's get to 300 likes. The first, better, or best line came from Tim Stewart. And to me, that line evaporates with Doom the Dark Ages. It ain't first, it ain't better, it ain't best. Sorry, it ain't. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but it's better on PC. No, it's better on high-end PCs. It's not better on PC generically. You have to be specific. It's better on like a high-end PC. Like up to now, I don't think anybody ever ran with that and said like, oh, you guys on Xbox are getting robbed, man. The game's better on PC. They never said that. It's funny how the PC guys never rub that in the Xbox guys' face. For whatever reason, they're strange bedfellows. The PC guys and the Xbox guys. I don't get where it comes from. They never rubbed it in their face. Not once did they ever rub it in their face. I never saw any of those pro PC guys, those PC Master Race guys, rubbing it in the Xbox fans' faces and saying, oh no, it's actually best on PC. It's not best on the Series X. It's not best on the world's most powerful, console. But now the Pro is entering the mix. The PC guys ride in on a steed, and they're like, ha, 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 it's best on PC. And it's like, well, yeah, it's best on a PC built to be better. It's not, like, blanketedly better. Like, Doom the Dark Ages is not going to be better on every PC. It'll be better on PCs at that power threshold, which, funny enough, you paid for that power threshold. Like, we're all paying what we think is appropriate for the value that we get, right? You've spent more than me and you've got this really nice rig. Yeah, you're going to get better performance. You better. And if not, you're a sucker. Like, you spent more money than me. Right? Like, you spent more money than me. You better be getting better performance than me. Good golly. I mean, what did you spend the money on then? To have pretty RGBs? I think not. Googly comes in with a super chat, says, I never rub on them because I'm a Series X owner. Thank you, Googly. I appreciate that. First super chat on the goal. Yeah, it was always first, better, or best. They never said best value. Now, if somebody wants to say first, better, or best, and they want to say, oh, but it's best value because I'm getting on Game Pass, that is subjective, dude. Yeah, I would say best value is subjective to the consumer. I feel like I'm getting the best value. Why? I'm getting a PS5 Pro Enhanced game, and then I own it, and then I'll be able to play it in the future, and I'll be able to let my kids play it in the future, and potentially play it with, maybe even better performance on the PS6. I don't know. That, to me, is better value. There's more elasticity to that. There's more longevity. Like, come on. Like, that, to me, that's my value system. So even there, it's like first, better, or best. It isn't first, better, or best. It isn't. Buying digital is renting too? No, it's not. No, that's a complete miscategorization. Absolutely not. No. If you are on Game Pass and you cancel Game Pass, you no longer have access to the games on Game Pass. When I buy a game digitally, I own a license to play that game that cannot just be revoked willy-nilly. I don't have to keep paying to maintain that license. You are completely miscategorizing the categorical difference between a digital purchase and a subscription service. It's completely different. It's literally in the fine print that says you don't own it, can't read. Man, to say that I can't read as you miscategorize something is truly a dizzying display of intelligence. Wow. No, it's not a rental, homie. It's a license. You can't just revoke a license because you feel like it. And also, a rental indicates a continued payment for non-ownership. Right? Like, I'm paying for Netflix continually. I don't own anything on Netflix. Like, I have purchased movies through Amazon. I own those movies digitally. I have a license to watch that movie whenever I want. I could cancel Amazon Prime tomorrow and I could still watch those movies. I'm not paying in perpetuity to rent the game. So you're miscategorizing. You're conflating categories, which is to accuse me of not reading while you conflate categories. I mean, come on, man. That's incredibly, like, it's a little embarrassing. You guys are exactly why companies get away with stuff? How? What company do you like and support? Educate us. Help us out. Servers can be shut down. Digitally owned single-player games don't require a server. My kids are playing Hogwarts Legacy every Saturday. PlayStations aren't hooked up to the internet. They're not. They are unplugged from the internet, and they are playing Hogwarts Legacy every weekend. What are you talking about? I want you to tell us. Lead us to the promised land. We're supporting companies that do bad stuff. What companies do you support? Who do you think's doing a better job? Who? Who do you give your patronage to? Xbox? Steam? Yeah, show us the way. Show us a better way of being. We're being bad consumers, which means that you know how to be a better consumer. How many games have offline support? A lot, actually. And you need to answer the question. If we're supporting, companies that do bad things and we're letting them get away with bad things, what companies do you support? I want to know, where Creature, where are we on timeline here? I'm assuming it's rendering since you're typing. That's typically what happens. Is this true or is this a mistake? What does that say? Valid until February of 2030. I don't know what that is. Watch him say Gamefly. No, I'm always interested. So you're basically arguing for an ideal. You're acting like, well, these companies are basically just renting you games and you're letting them get away with it, right? So, okay, let's hear it. Where do you then spend your money? Where do you feel like you're getting treated better? I need to know. What's this ideal? Are there ideal companies? Are there companies that you feel are worth your patronage and your support? It says it's valid until 2030. The code's probably valid until 2030, Hadigan. You have to use the code for those digital items before 2030. I think they probably just recycle the codes, brother. He can't name the games he plays because it falls under the same category. Like you were sure you sure were quick to judge us all and say that I can't read and that we're basically renting games when we purchase them digitally, but you can't tell me where you hang your hat as a consumer. This is an easy question to answer. If somebody asked me right now the companies I support, it wouldn't be difficult for me to say, well, these are the companies that get my money. Epic, Steam, From Software, CD Projekt Red, and many more. Okay, so you support Epic and Steam. Okay, you don't own any of those games. You don't. From Software has allowed their games to be sold digitally, meaning you don't own those games, meaning you support the very practices that you just were criticizing us for. Even if you buy the discs, a lot of the times you don't have the full version. I mean, you listed Steam for crying out loud. You're Steam is digital only. What? What? Steam is literally a digital marketplace. I said digital purchasing Game Pass is the same thing. Right, but when we told you the difference, you then said that we were letting these companies get away with things. So do you have a problem with the fact that Steam is completely a digital storefront? Like, you think that what you're doing on Steam is equal to Game Pass? Steam is pro-consumer. There it is. Oh, I wanted you to type that one. I've been hoping for that one for a while. I have just been waiting for someone to type that. Steam is pro-consumer. There it is. That's magnificent. Oh, boy. Have you ever looked I'm really savoring this. Have you ever looked at the contracts that they make the devs sign? Have you ever looked at them? I'm just curious. Do you know what's in there? Do you know what they basically do with pricing? Family game sharing is pro-consumer. I do that on my PlayStation. And it's easier on my PlayStation. Do you want to know why? We can play the same game. PlayStation is, in that hemisphere, PlayStation's better than Steam. I can buy a co-op game and share it with my wife. She can play on one. I can play on the other at the same time. I can't do that on Steam. Can't. I got to buy the game twice. Steam's anti-consumer. Steam is better with respect to consumer protection with refunds. I'll always grant that. Never mind. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Did the facts mess up your plan here? Did it mess up your plan? If I buy a game once on Steam and I want to play it co-op with my wife, I have to buy it twice on my account and then on her account. I got to buy the game twice. On PlayStation, I buy the game one time. Ergo, PlayStation's more pro-consumer. You just tried to claim family sharing made Steam pro-consumer. PlayStation's more pro-consumer according to your metric than Steam is. You don't have to buy the game twice? Yes, you do. You can't play at the same time. We literally looked into this. She can play, and then later on I can play. But if we want to play at the same time, we have to own the game twice to play at the same time. You don't seem to be listening. You don't even know how the platform you're praising works. Come on. You're a walking cliche, bro. Never mind, you're a PlayStation fanboy. There it is. Call me a name. Homie, listen to what I'm saying to you. You just claimed their family sharing made them more pro-consumer. PlayStation's better at this because I can buy the game once, Madam can play, I can play, and we can both play at the same time. If I want to play at the same time as my wife on Steam with family sharing, I have to buy the game twice. So according to your metric and your logic, PlayStation's more pro-consumer. Did you know that PlayStation charges for crossplay? Let's go to the other thing. The contracts. Do you know about what they do with the contracts and the pricing? Do you know that Steam makes it so like if a developer makes a game and puts it elsewhere, they essentially say you can't help. Basically, like Epic can't try to win people over to their storefront by having like a sale on the game because that company agreed to then also make the game on sale on Steam. That's anti-competitive. Steam is quite literally anti-competitive. That's not good for you as a consumer. They're making it more difficult for other storefronts to actually enter the market. You think that they're pro-consumer? I like what Steam does. I praise Steam for their refund policy. I really do. I think they are far more consumer protective. They're far more consumer protective. You're defending PlayStation too much? Where have I defended PlayStation? I'm talking about Steam. You said Steam was pro-consumer. I'm pointing out ways that I think you could claim that they're not. I'm pointing out ways that PlayStation does something that benefits me. Like I play lots of co-op games and I only have to buy the game one time. My kids are playing Hogwarts Legacy at the same time every Saturday. No problem. I bought the game once. I wouldn't be able to do that on Steam. Agree to disagree? Oh, good Lord. Okay. No, at least... Okay. You call me a PlayStation fanboy. That's not too bad. That's not too egregious. At least you're bowing out without, flipping the table over. I believe Steam is pro-consumer and Xbox, so agree to disagree. So you think Xbox is pro-consumer. Did you think it was pro-consumer the way they handled the last 4 years? They marketed the Series S on promises that were broken, and they set a video to private. Do you think that was pro-consumer? Do you think it was pro-consumer to talk about, you know, the Series X and it'll eat monsters for breakfast and it's this big, huge, powerful thing, and then they shipped games that weren't ready and ran at 30 FPS? Did you think that was pro-consumer? Did you think it was pro-consumer to move day and date to Ultimate and raise the price of Ultimate? I thought being pro-consumer was about saving the customer money. Xbox doesn't seem to want to save you money. They moved day and date to Ultimate, and now they're charging more money for it. Is that pro-consumer? Is it pro-consumer to use showcases to constantly trot out roadmaps that promise games at a certain cadence, and they have never this gen hit a roadmap on time once, but they use the roadmaps to keep people on Game Pass? Is that pro-consumer? They promised people bite back editions and extra content in Redfall, and all that got canceled. Now, I think most of them got their money back, hopefully. It just seems very selective. It seems oddly selective. It's like we're going to ignore all the things that Xbox did to like let their consumers down this gen, and we're going to act like, well, PlayStation's anti-consumer because they have exclusives. Henry with 9 months. Is Xbox 5 Pro consumer loan? Oh, thank you so much. And that gets us to 34. Guys, make sure that you don't have a renewal. We're trying to get to 50 members. And then I'll owe you guys a 10 bomb. There we go. I can't argue with kids. I said I agree to dislike an adult and you got crap on grow up kids. What the hell? No one crapped on you. I asked you questions. What? What are you talking about? You went on the offensive and you basically acted like we were stupid and couldn't read, and you said that buying games digitally was the same as Game Pass. We showed you that simply just isn't true. You said we were letting companies get away with things, and then we were like, okay, well, what are the companies that you think are so great? That has nothing to do with exclusives? Okay, I need you to tell me then, if it's not exclusives, why do you think PlayStation's anti-consumer? You think Xbox is pro-consumer and you think Steam is pro-consumer? Okay, we've established that you think that, and I think I've done a decent job and a charitable job. I've not been unkind to you. I've shown that Steam and Xbox have done things that I, as a consumer, think are anti-consumer. What do you think PlayStation has done that makes them anti-consumer? I like hearing different opinions. You've not been banned. You've not been insulted. You insulted me. You've insulted chat. You called me a fanboy, and then you just said chat's a bunch of kids crapping on you. Like, no one here has attacked you. We've asked questions. What did Steam do? I pointed out how their family sharing is not as good as PlayStation's. I pointed out how their contracts make it difficult for other storefronts to enter the market, which is anti-competitive, which is bad for consumers. Zubair says, I'm pretty childish, I'm not going to lie. You definitely ignore PlayStation being anti-consumer. Charging for cross-play. Huh? PlayStation on purpose has stick drift issues. On purpose. Oh my good golly. Hardware is expensive on purpose, like the Pro and the PlayStation Portal. Dear goodness. Okay. All right, there's a lot here. First and foremost, they do not have stick drift on purpose. Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox all get their joysticks from the exact same distributor, and that's why they all experience stick drift. This is why people have been pushing for Hall effect joysticks, because the friction's not there, okay? Nobody is quite at scale yet to supply the joysticks to the manufacturers. You get stick drift on Nintendo and Xbox just as much. So what you're claiming there is completely false. Making their hardware expensive on purpose, like the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro is a high-end luxury piece of technology for $700. It's no different than buying a more expensive iPhone. That's something you can buy if you want. It's totally optional. And the PlayStation Portal is $200. It's literally the price of a controller. If you can't agree on that, I'm out. Dead. So let me explain something to you, Mr. Mac. You're making false claims, and when we falsify those false claims, you're claiming that we're PSN bots and we're ponies, okay? Something you need to understand here is when you say something false and someone refutes it, it doesn't make them a pony or a bot. Like, you're living in an unfalsified position. It's like, well, I'm going to make statements that aren't true, and if you don't agree with me, then you're just a bot. Like, what? It is a factual and true statement that they get their joysticks from the same manufacturer. That's why they all get stick drift. PlayStation doesn't make them stick drift on purpose. That isn't true. Like, that's a false claim. Just like a tech hardware analyst could tell you that, and he's not a fan of any of the platforms. He would just tell you that, no, yeah, they all get their joysticks from the same place. And then the other claim about making their hardware expensive on purpose, I don't understand what you mean by making their hardware expensive on purpose. The PS5 Pro is an upgraded version of the PlayStation 5. It's just like when you go to buy an iPhone, there's more expensive versions, or an iWatch, there's more expensive versions. So you don't have to buy it. And the Portal is dirt cheap if you really think about it. It's dirt cheap. It's $200. This is the price of a controller. A remote play cloud device for $200? What? In what universe is this expensive? I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. $371 games got added to cloud. Yeah, they're not on the portal yet. I don't know what, since it's a beta, I don't know how that timing works. Yeah. They should give it to you for free? Yeah, I can't imagine that being any cheaper than $200. Like, consumer perception would be like, gosh, that thing must be it must be cheap if it's like $200. Less than that? It's literally a 1080 LCD screen built into a controller, and you think $200 is too expensive. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Dear Lord. Portable devices like the Steam Deck are way more expensive because they can play things natively. I'm not saying they're too expensive. I'm just saying they're even more expensive because you can play them native. You can install the games right then and there. Asus ROG, Ally, and the Steam Deck. This is not a cheap hobby, my friend. I tell you what, gaming is not a cheap hobby, but we certainly have some cheap gamers in our midst. I mean, man, y'all don't want to spend money on anything. Sony charges more on purpose. Yeah, what a sentence. What a sentence that is. Guys, make sure you're pressing the like button and make sure you're renewing those memberships. Help us hit that milestone. Mash says, for those that end up meaning I have either less access or have to pay more for something I was getting before, which I call anti-consumer, but not sure if that is definitionally what it is. Generally, it sounds to me like consumer entitlement. I think people that say anti-consumer are just entitled consumers. You said it, says Tremolo. The consumer entitlement the past couple of years is astounding. If you want things in a luxury market, you have to pay. Yeah, man, can you imagine going to like a forum about like luxury cars and watches and electronics and people being like, can you believe it? Like, I can't believe all this stuff's so expensive. It's like, what? Spice King says, crossplay. Literally just played Marvel Rivals with my brother and his girlfriend last night. Me and my brother were on PS5. They were on Xbox. I didn't have to pay money. Yeah, free-to-play games, you don't have to pay for the subscription. You don't have to pay for PS Plus or Game Pass or any of that. They removed that a while ago. Now, if you want to play, Monster Hunter with your buddy, yeah, you need to pay for the online. So I know people don't like that and they're frustrated by that, but like, you're paying for to use their infrastructure. I mean, what do you want? Again, you just want all that to be free? You want millions of people to just use their infrastructure and use all the bandwidth and log in and play with people and then complain when it's down and be angry when it's not working right, and that's all supposed to just be free? Well, because Steam makes it free? Yeah, I know. We've had this discussion before. Fazoli's makes their breadsticks free. That doesn't mean every Italian restaurant's giving you free breadsticks. Like, one business model doesn't need to match the others. Like, and that's the thing. If you like that, then go there. Never go to the Italian restaurant that charges you for their really fancy breadsticks. Just keep going to Fazoli's. And if you're like, I will never get on a console because they make you pay for online and Steam doesn't make me, well, then just stay on Steam. Like, that you've determined your preferences. Go where you get what your preferences are. It's that simple. A member plus renewal from Pac-Man on a Bike. Renewal. Missed last week because of a family trip, and man, it's going to be back. Heck of a day. Yo, thank you so much. And that gets us to 35. We're 15 away from the 50. I'm going to drop a 10 bomb when we get to the 50. Thank you guys so much. Steam isn't providing messaging, chat, voice, etc. They provide messaging. Like, you can type back and forth. You can like do like a little chat box. But yeah, it's using game chat. Why do you think things like, historically speaking, why do you think things like Roger Wilco and these other voice chat solutions came into existence? Because guys on PC wanted to be able to talk to each other, and a lot of times the in-game chat would be really, really bad. I don't know if has Steam added voice chat since. I remember people always complaining about that when we would go to play Destiny. They were like, the game chat's terrible, let's use Discord. He said cross-play, implying that you had to be pay for playing with other platforms. He could have been online. He was really confused, Lone Wolf. He thinks that Game Pass is the same as buying a game digitally. Like, he was having a hard time. Like, TeamSpeak and Ventrilo made a nice chunk of change off of that. Steam has voice chat, but it's still abysmal, says Taco. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the usage of that is nowhere near as high as, like, most of them are probably just using Discord. Am I going to cover the new AMD video cards? I don't really cover PC hardware, no. Corey says, in order for a company to be anti-consumer to you, you have to be a consumer. You cannot be anti-consumer to people who don't consume your product. That's it, isn't it? Bro said they charge for crossplay. Guys, right now, let's try to make a scramble for 400 likes. We're having a great day. We've been streaming for about 2 hours. I've got a video coming, and you're not going to want to miss it. I argue that Monster Hunter Wilds is everything wrong with gaming right now. It's not a hit piece. There's positive things in the video. You have to wait and see what I have to say. Sony did charge developers for crossplay to make up lost sales from it. Yeah, they did that with Fortnite, but they didn't charge the consumer. He meant cross progression with PC. Jack Garland says, is Eugene here? I want to see anti-consumer ball drop in his name. Oh my golly. That was, man, I don't know where some of that comes from sometimes, dude. I'm just talking, I'm just out here talking. Dudes, that was a statement. That was certainly a statement. That video is out here cooking, so let's give it some retweets, shall we? That video is still going. Oh wow, that's gonna go over well. Twitch banned Hassan. All right, well, how long do you think it'll last? Let's see here. Taking bets, chat. Less than 12 hours, right? 2 days maybe. If it makes it to 2 days, I'll be shocked. 12 hours. 12 hours, he'll be back on the platform. You know, Clancy will be hanging out with him. Oh, man. Some of them people get banned like once a month. It's like their monthly ban, you know? Like, I don't have anything against Caitlyn, but I think Amaranth's been banned like double digits. I think she's been banned like double digits, like 10, 11, 12 times. I don't even know. If Sony allowed cross progression, I would have purchased another copy of Helldivers 2, but I'm not having 2 save files for that game. Oh. Jake, do you ever think what would they have needed to do to allow cross progression? I wonder if there's something. Is there something they could have done that would have allowed you to have? I mean, you might call it like account synchronization, maybe. I think other companies do this, and I think you just. Oh, that's what it. You just link your accounts. That's it. That's what they. Oh, that's how they do it. Yeah. So, why do you think Helldivers doesn't have cross progression? Just, you know, take a stab at it, Jake. You can still link your account and it doesn't work? That's what it's supposed to do. That's an actual criticism, Jake, that I'll make. Wait, so you can link it and it doesn't? That's literally what it's supposed to do. So you can link your PSN and it doesn't link your Helldivers account? Oh, that's stupid. That's the whole point. Man, PlayStation couldn't be dumber when it comes to that effort on PC. That is dumb. It's like, I literally thought I had you, Jake. I was like, oh, I got him. Nobody wanted to link their accounts, and that's how you could do it. Man, PlayStation could not be worse at implementing the PSN login thing. They are so bad. They're so bad at it. They're like, we're going to make you do it for Helldivers. It's not going to allow cross progression, and everybody's going to get mad, and then we're going to back off, and we're not going to make it a requirement. Then we're going to still leave the game region locked. Then we're not going to require it on Tsushima unless you want to play Legends. Then we're going to require it on Ragnarok. Then we're not going to require it on Spider-Man 2, but we're still going to region lock the game. What are you doing, PlayStation? What? It's unbelievable. It's on Arrowhead, the cross progression? But they could work with PlayStation, could they not? I don't know. The implementation of the PS thing on PlayStation has just been all over the place. It's schizophrenic. It's like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Yeah, the promise of account linking is to transfer your trophies and stuff. So it just doesn't do that for Helldivers 2. That is dumb. I think I disagree with some of what is anti-consumer versus not, says MASH. But anti-consumer is not some agreed-on definition. It's part of the problem. Yeah, it's gotten to the point. MASH, where it literally is just, if this company does something I don't like, it's anti-consumer. And a 20 bomb from MASH says, "Is this anti-consumer?" And that gets us to 55, halfway to the pace that we need for a Monday. And I'm gonna drop a 10 bomb as soon as MASH is done. And I've got an upload for you guys. They didn't implement it. Okay, well, you know, the buck stops in this equation. I think the buck stops at PlayStation because they were the ones that were going to implement it and add it, and then they had to walk it back. If you can't even implement it with account cross progression, then what in the heck are you doing? It shouldn't even be there. That feels like shared blame to me. It's like, you guys are, I don't know what y'all are doing. Omar says he's doing it wrong. He could have said you can family share with numerous Steam users instead of just 2, but he said you can play online together with one purchase, which you can't do. My only pushback on Lono's comments are the Steam dev contract thing. This is demonstrably false. I don't know where that narrative started that they can't have a game on sale cheaper elsewhere. What do you mean? We covered that. We literally covered that there was a story about that. Like if they go to the Epic Game Store, they go on sale over there, they agree to then also go on sale on Steam. Is that completely made up? I remember reading the articles about it. Is that completely fabricated? We covered that. That was like a year ago. Hang on now. If you were working on a feature for a group of people that was dependent on account linking, but you got told to wipe your butt with account linking, are you following through? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Here, I owe you guys 10 members. I would need to see a verified contract because we can go to Green Man Gaming, which are official storefronts, and get the games cheaper at the times quite often. No. See, I think that's different, though. Don't those companies buy the game in bulk at full price, and then they can sell it for however much they want? I don't think that's the same. Like the companies that buy the game in bulk and then sell the codes at a discount, I don't think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about like that company cannot enter into an agreement with Epic to put the game on sale without it being on sale on Steam. A secondhand selling, I don't think is what we're talking about. I swear to frick, we covered this, and it was like Steam basically makes it impossible for other storefronts to enter the market. They can't. They're like, well, how are we going to compete? Like that's why Epic kept entering into exclusivity agreements, because it was like, what else are we going to do? Like the one coming out, Blades of Fire. Blades of Fire is not on Steam at launch. Like that's Epic's attempt to get people into their funnel. Most favored nation clause. Yeah, these were large publicized articles. Yeah, I didn't pull that out of thin air. That was something that I feel like we vetted that, researched that, and that was pretty rock solid. Ubisoft stores do the same thing. Epic does cheaper. I'm never forced to use Steam for a key for a cheaper version. I think we might be passing in the night. When you unpacking antitrust, what do most favored nations contract clauses? Right, AOZ just put an article here. Might be worth a look at. A peek into Microsoft's influencer strategy. I found this interview with the person who created the Xbox sect with the digital influencers. AstroTurfing. It's perfect. It explains all the behavior. Ever wonder why iconic brands cause knee-jerk reactions when mentioned in conversations? What does influencer marketing fail? This is really lengthy. I'll have to read that later. The most favored nation clause just says that you treat us the same. It's that what we are talking about is not anti-consumer. It's literally force that clause for clients all the time. Right. I actually argue, though, Omar, I think I'm arguing this well, and you're welcome to try to refute this. I think this is pretty rock solid. When Steam is telling a developer to sign that contract in order to do business with them, and they have such a stranglehold on the PC gaming market, they're making it to where other storefronts cannot come in and have a leg of competition. I think that's bad for the consumer. They're making it incredibly hard for anybody to compete with Steam. I think that trickles out and ripples into being anti-consumer. It's not concerned with letting the consumer pick and choose based off of the best. It's, well, there's no reason to go anywhere else. This is the biggest and the strongest and the best place to go. So it's like, that to me is anti-consumer. Like, has Steam ever been forced to give you, better features like is make their voice chat better or compete on other things like that? No, they're just, we're the biggest and the best. And when you sign a contract with us, you can't go anywhere else and enter into a deal where you're cheaper over there because we want to maintain our dominance. I don't think that's good for the consumer. You see what I'm saying? Now, you can disagree with me and say it's not that big of a deal. You know, Steam makes up for it in other ways. They're very, like, protective of the consumer with the refund policy. I agree with that. You know, they promote early access, which is helpful for, you know, devs and consumers to develop healthy relationships where it's symbiotic. I would actually applaud that as well. We assume that usually that competition is pro-consumer. Yes, like anything that's done in an effort to make it to where nobody can compete with them or make it harder for compete with them, I believe that is at its core, that is a form of being anti-consumer. You're wanting the consumer to have less choice. I think the more choices you have, the better. This I'm telling you, this gets all the way down to the bone marrow of the debate about anti-consumer and exclusives. I actually think, I was talking about this last night with a guy in my church group. He took an interest in what was going on with Xbox and everything else. And he said, but isn't that better? The games are going to be everywhere. And I was like, in my experience, no. I think consumers get a better product when the company has a vested interest in their research and development, their tech advancements, and the quality of the game, focused on being such a high quality that you want their box. I think that's a happy marriage. I think the minute the game's everywhere, it dilutes it. It leads to problems. You get games that are optimized like Monhun and others that clearly, you know, could have been at a better quality if it was built for one platform. I think we get worse products as a result. And I think that's fundamentally anti-consumer because you're paying the same price for God of War Ragnarok that you're paying for a multi-plat game that runs like crap. You're paying the same amount of money both times. And in one instance, you get a better product. Why? Because it was built for one platform. Using the phrase, anti-consumer is anti-intelligent. No company is anti-consumer buying their stuff. If you can't afford it, that's your fault. Right, Tommy? You have the freedom to choose whichever you want. They just aren't going to undercut it. If that is how they are using it, if at all. But PC gamers can easily go to storefronts, official ones, and get cheaper. Okay, no. Okay. I've acknowledged that, Omar. We're talking about how... Okay, so when did I do my 10 bomb? I did my 10 bomb. We're 20 away from 75 when I'll owe you guys 5 more. Somebody come in and 20 bomb dunk. Don't let Mash do it. Somebody else do it. Some of you guys have been matching him. It's been incredible. Listen. Whenever they came in and they bought up the local cable company here where I live, instead of like establishing their own cable company and their own infrastructure and their own service, and then they have to compete on price, right? So the minute they don't have to compete on price, I lose in that equation because I don't have a choice. I can't go anywhere. It's like the cell phone company's price fixing. It's like, well, I know I'm going to walk into Verizon and AT&T and all the plans are going to mirror each other. They basically are like, we're not going to compete on price. Okay. You're basically fixing the PC storefront market and saying, well, nobody can compete with us on price. Right? Because aren't you going, when you go and buy those codes, Omar, aren't you buying a code? Where do you use the code? So if I go to one of these storefronts, you're saying I can buy the PC game cheaper. What do I do with that? Is it just an is this an executable? I can just install it? Or am I buying a code to go use in another place, another launcher or something? I don't use those sites. I don't know. Wired Rope with a $5 super chat says, while Steam is private and beholden to shareholders, I'm not while Steam is private, and I think you meant to say not beholden to shareholders, I'm not worried, but once again, corporations aren't your friends. If I go to GMG, I can buy a code or it is linked directly to my account. Where do you use the code? What do you do with the code? Where do I go with this code that I purchased? Yo, Evidence with 26 months. Greatest gaming news channel on YouTube, hands down. Thank you so much. If you guys are on Member Lite, consider bumping up to Member Plus. We are the closest we have ever been to the milestone. We want 600 folks paying for their own memberships, and we're at 589. We need 11 people. You use the code in Steam or it directly adds it. So you're... All roads lead back to Steam. That's... I don't know. That's, my principles are just like, huh? How is this? How is this? How is this good? How is this good? All the doom and gloom about if Xbox goes away, PlayStation's going to do whatever they want, and nobody gives a frick that Steam is basically the only game in town on PC. Or you can go and buy a code's cheaper at this place. Yeah, and then you go install the code on Steam. Steam got the money either way. That company just bought them in bulk. Places like GDAQ and CD Keys have codes for Steam and GOG. The actual game product will tell you where the code can be used. Good golly. Or Uplay or Epic. No, I know you can get codes for other places. I'm just saying, by and large, what people are probably doing is they're going and buying the Steam code, but they're doing it because it's on sale, which that's great. And a 10 bomb comes in from Alex. He says, I'll get it halfway there. He wants somebody to tag team with him. We're at 65. I'm dropping a 5 bomb at 75. Thank you so much, Alex. Here's the thing. I don't have a vested interest in going on some warpath against Steam. I like Steam and have praised them. I was simply pushing back on the notion that there's some bastion of pro-consumer practices. Like, you know, all hail St. Gavin. Like, listen, I get it. We all love Santa, and he seems super nice and cuddly, but you're going to act like Steam ain't doing the same thing everybody else is doing and making sure that nobody infringes on their you know, their territory. And that means they're not pro-consumer. And even their refund policy, it's because they want you to stay loyal to them. I think it's a very good policy, and I think other platforms should do it as well, but let's not kid ourselves. D-Tom with 42 months in a VIP. Love this discussion. Debatable or bad decisions made by a company doesn't make the entire company anti-consumer. Every time we talk about a bad decision Sony makes, we can come up with one for Xbox. And that bumps the line to 66. Thank you so much. Mike says, this guy called your work tabloid. You've been complimentary to him before. Cut him off. I have. These Xbox employees hate the truth. Yeah, I'm just not going to respond in kind or insult. I just laughed at the notion. I just laughed at the notion that I'm a tabloid. I thought that was it was humorous. It was humorous. Something about glass houses is kind of what came to mind. Valve has done such a great job at giving people enough perception of value, they won't question the fact that they have limited options if they want to buy elsewhere. Yeah. Which Discord channel can I use to share gameplay and or chat? I think there's a handful in there. Are they not? I'm not suggesting they're like a saint or a savior, says Omar. I'm just saying that the marketplace is different than console and that we can easily go elsewhere if we want to. Most people just don't want to. Luke with a $5 super chat tip says, if there were no exclusives on consoles, what platform or console do you think people would choose out of the three? I don't know. Like, look at what just happened with Monster Hunter Wilds. Look at what just happened. Okay? Monster Hunter Wilds basically lands everywhere. And it's getting the most consistent performance on the PS5 Pro and higher-end PCs. So everybody else is getting not great performance. The base PS5, not great. It's ugly everywhere. Its image quality is just ugly and bad. And lots of PCs, mid and down, and just PCs within the power threshold that should be able to run it or encountering all kinds of problems. Okay? So, but that game's supposed to be the paragon. It's everywhere, right? Well, when you have games launching like that, I don't know how consumers would choose. How would you choose? How do you choose where to go when the consistency's all over the dadgum place? Oh, it's great on the Pro, inconsistent on the base, and it's all over the place on PC. Where do you go? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. This idea that, like, well, you put the games everywhere, and then people will go to the different platforms for the different features that they're going to get. What multi-plat games are doing that? Do you mind telling me? I'm not talking to you, Luke. I'm speaking, like, to everybody. Like, what games are doing that? Oh, yeah, this game really leveraged this, and you really want to go over here for this feature. They're not doing that. Do you think developers have that kind of time? You think they have that kind of time to be like, well, yeah, we're going to make our game for every platform, and then we're also going to leverage the individual technology on every single platform. Are they doing a good job of doing that? They used FSR 1 to upscale for performance on the consoles, but then you can get better, like higher versions of FSR on the PC, and you can get DLSS. The performance is all over the place and crashing on PC, depending on your rig, depending on all sorts of things. So it's like, and you think in some utopian world where, like, not you, Luke, I'm just saying in general, you think in some utopian world where games are everywhere, you're somehow going to get better results? Okay. The consistent theme in the industry right now just continues to prove me right. That, oh, buddy, do you get more consistent and better quality when a game is built for one system first? Your multi-plats just keep tripping on themselves, man. Ice Queen says, Lono, I just found out for my sister, my nephew just got in the school he wanted. Hey! That's exciting. Always good to get good news. I like that shirt. Thank you. I wish Magic Sword would. I wish not labels. I'm sorry. I wish artists like this could go DMCA free and still be profitable. Their label will claim anytime I use their music on YouTube. It's unfortunate. I used to use their music on Twitch, and it was whitelisted over there. So. Hilly says, Monster Hunter is the only game I have refunded for the reason other, and then I wrote this. This AAA game fails at every level with the highlight of spending 2 hours trying to play with my friend unsuccessfully. The menu UI is insane. I'm happy for you to tell Capcom to stick this game where the sun doesn't shine. I got so annoyed I used the word pedestrian, which is another story for another day. Thank you in advance for my refund. P.S. My playtime was 2.4 hours, which includes 36 minutes compiling shaders. If you, Steam, or Capcom take issue with this, I can provide evidence. The glorious PC Master Race experience, you know? 36 minutes compiling shaders. Oh, man. Good golly. Oh. Monster Wilds is great. I'm glad I'm not having these issues. Nathan, I have a video coming. I don't know when we'll push it. We'll probably push it live at like 1:30 or 2. Maybe I'll let you guys extend. We'll see how high the member count can get today. But basically, I argue that Monster Hunter Wilds is everything wrong with gaming today. Like, and part of the frustration is, I talk about it in the video. I talk about it. You have to watch the video. I'm not going to spoil it. It's layered with frustration because it's like, I have faith that Microsoft can leverage AI to reduce their porting costs and timelines in the future, says Mash. Just not sure it's what people want to hear. I assume they want to hear that PlayStation's porting more. No, probably not. I'm really interested to see the next earnings call with PlayStation. I'm really interested to see if they explain their strategy on PC, if it's changed at all. They're being really, really weird on PC. Like, I don't know what the heck's going on. We got a lot of hits today for Assassin's Creed Shadows. A lot. So thank you to everybody who came in looking for AC Shadows. I mean, I covered it in the show open and we watched the gameplay. Sadly, I can't just, like, constantly run that on a loop. But I think the gameplay looks good. I think the new gameplay looks very promising. Great to me. I'm playing it right now. To play with your friends, you have to create a private lobby, make a mission, and then give them the code or the password to get into the lobby. You forgot all the other steps, though. You have to send them a postcard, and it has to have the decoder ring attached to it. And then you don't want to do environment link unless you do. But you only do environment link if you haven't also done the party link. But if you've done party link, you want to make sure and do environment link after. But only if you're actually standing in the town. But if you're not in the town, what you want to do is you want to send them the invite or shoot the flare. So did you guys, I hope you guys were writing that down, because that's how you play together. That's what it felt like. That was my experience. As an old man, I'm getting old. And I was like, what the frick, man? Why can't we just play? People are like, no, you don't want to do it in that order. You want to do it in this order, Lono. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I feel like I need a syllabus, you know? Like, okay, in this day, you're going to learn how to do this. And then this next day, you're going to learn how to do that. Oh, it's like, I just want to hit monsters. I just want to bonk them on the head with my friends. You know? That's it. Environmental link. That's right. We tried for so long. It was so frustrating. Peachy Creamy with 9 months. If you can only afford to feed one child, get a gaming PC. That is perfect. It's like the be a man thing, right? You know? It's like when you get home from work, ignore your family and turn the TV on. Be a man, you know? It's like if you can't afford groceries and gas this week, get a gaming PC. If you're having trouble making ends meet, get yourself a gaming PC. Oh my gosh. Oh. I think I like our new approach to a lot of the nonsense so that we don't lose our minds, right? I appreciate our approach to just turning these things into memes and jokes, you know, Xbox better and, you know, and get a gaming PC. It's good. It's good. I appreciate it. Once you pass the campaign, it's easier. But it's just dumb that it's like that. Yeah. The story is just a big tutorial. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I get that, and I think that's great. I think that is a huge win for the fans. You know? It is. It's a huge win for the fans. So it's just clearly a game that I'm just never gonna be able to do it. I wanted to be able to go in and just easy peasy, lemon squeezy, just hang on. Can I get unbanned from your YouTube chat? It was months ago, close to a year, where I was an absolute jerk. I was slowly fooled by the creepy Xbox propaganda. Over time, I woke up to the fact something very creepy was going on in these channels. Universal talking points. I deeply apologize and hope to engage with your YouTube chat soon. Thank you. Okay, hang on. I don't know your... I need your like your username. I need your YouTube like account. I need a link to your YouTube profile to unban. I'm always willing to give people a second chance. I mean, especially when folks are going to come back and apologize. Like I'd be happy to go and clear our ban list, but the problem is there are nasty people that we've banned. I mean, they get real nasty, like bringing up my family and leveraging 2020 and lies about me and stuff. It's like some people went well beyond just console tribalism. So it's like I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to just like open up the floodgates of the trolls. Okay, hang on one second. Gotcha. And unhide. There we go. And TY Lono. Yep. Whoops. Done. That sounds unsafe. Yeah. Like I'm all about burying the hatchet, shaking hands, and being like, let's move on. But TY Lono, there you are. But like, listen, I've said this many times before. If you guys have seen the movie, if you've seen the movie Rambo, the great poet John Rambo wrote a very, very short haiku, sonnet, whatever you want to label it. And he said, they drew first blood. That's what I have to say to that entire crowd. You drew first blood. I didn't come after any of you. I didn't attack none of y'all. I didn't put you in my content. You drew first blood. So you want to act like I'm the bad guy, the villain, or I'm the grifter, I'm the tabloid. You drew first blood. So, you know, and I don't think I feel like I've done a pretty dadgum good job not lashing back out and hurling insults. You know, if the worst thing I've ever said is like I call somebody a Phil Spencer lackey, like, okay, you know, flog me for that, I guess. But like, dear Lord, have some self-awareness. Like, and when I say that, I'm not posturing as a victim. I'm posturing as like, can't we just be professional and make fun content together? Like, y'all drew first blood. You said horrible things about me for years now. Like, what? Like, that's not me saying that I'm a victim. I'm saying I can't shake hands with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to make some content. I'm trying to have conversations, not get called a tabloid and a grifter. Like, all right. A 5 spot from Charles Hawk. Last night, I beat Biome 2 in Returnal. Biome 3 enemies hit so hard. Charles, you have no idea. Before it was rebalanced, homie, those astronauts in Biome 3, Jiminy Christmas. You'd get to Biome 3, and the astronauts would kill you faster than the Biome 2 boss. Like, the Biome 2 boss would, like, nick you a couple times, hit you a couple times, and you'd be okay. You'd survive. Those frickin' astronauts, buddy, they'd two-tap you. I remember, like, I had pretty good health and pretty good build before they rebalanced it. And I remember getting that biome, and I was like, this is so overtuned, man. Like the damage output was insane. It's like, I just cleared a boss that didn't hit this hard. You're just like a mini boss. And you're chunking me. I was two-tapping. I was getting two-tapped. So, be glad you're not playing the original version. Because the original version of Biome 3 was, it was tough. I would love to see gameplay from people beating it back then, too. I wonder if they played, like, uber careful conservative. Like, because it was so hard, you know, to move around and have volition. It was tough. All right, we are one super chat away from Confetto, and yeah, in 20 minutes, I've got a video for you guys. I'm going to schedule it right now. In 20 minutes, we are going to go over and watch a video called Monster Hunter Wilds, Everything Wrong with Gaming, and I hope you guys like this one. I promise you guys know me, it's not a hit piece. There is a pretty significant thread of positivity in the video. A lot of people are going to react to the thumbnail and seethe and maul and yell, but that's par for the course for YouTube. And we're going to have this premiere at 1:30. Save. We're trying something new. Premiering videos in the morning was really hurting them because, like, we would premiere the video and then I'd immediately go live and basically step on the upload. And I would basically tell my audience, hey, come watch me live. Yeah, ignore the upload. So we're going to try doing these in the afternoon. Now, the green room will happen directly after this. So that's a great reason to be at a Member Plus. You get to continue with us beyond the premiere. You know, so it's a great reason to upgrade or to sign up brand new. There it is. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Hilly with 49 months in VIP. This is a big milestone, and my average shader compilation time. There it is, and that gets us to 68 members. Now, I'll push the upload if you guys want to extend, but we're going to have to hit, we're going to have to hit 100. We got to be on pace if we're going to extend. I actually feel like we should go beyond, but we'll see. A $10 super chat from Alex. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so we've got that set for 1:30 premiere today. Schedule. Who currently owns the license to Swordman, and when will we see some merch? Hopefully very, very soon. Hopefully very, very soon. All right, I owe you guys a member, and we'll start looking at the member questions. Some of you guys have submitted questions. So the super chats have forced the member count to 69. Nice. Thank you so much. There we go. All right, and then let me my children are running upstairs, like violently running. We'll do this. Member Plus or higher. Done. Everything wrong with gaming right now, but it's positive, guys. Yeah, it is. It's positive. I promise. Okay. There we go. All right. World Renowned Member Plus. Yeah, if you want to see every single thing I do, then you want to make sure that you are on Member Plus. That's where you want to be. That'll save to green room, and then the end screen card. Oh, you've already done that. That's fine. We just need the redirect to go to green room, and then we need this redirect to go to the premiere. Hey, world renowned GeoHound comes in and decides to get committed and gets involved. We are so stinking close on that milestone. We want 600 people at Member Plus and above, and man, you guys are bringing the support. We are at 590. Is that the record? That's the current record. That is the current record. Oh, Lobo is sharing his no damage run on the swamp monster. Okay. Wasn't aware of your game. Do we have a stretch goal yet? We're going to be playing Split Fiction this week for you guys. So, I'll tell you what we could do. That could be a really good incentive for the Split Fiction streams is as soon as you guys hit the goal, you unlock the evening stream. So, like, if you hit the goal earlier in the week instead of waiting until Friday, we could do that, right? Let's flip the goal all the way over around on its head. And there we go. 70 members already on the week. A renewal from Dylan. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all hit it on Friday, then I'm sorry, if y'all hit the goal on Wednesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we would be like, all right, let's go. And then the rest of the week, you could just be adding more incentives and more fun things for us to do during the Split Fiction playthroughs, you know? I don't know. That could be fun. That could be a fun way to do it. And a VIP from 80JC moves the line a little bit more. Thank you so much. Congrats on your green badge. There it is. That gets us to 71. figure out how to do shows with Mike in the future. It's just really hard to add anything right now because like we're so hyper focused on our own thing. You know what I mean? We're so hyper focused. It's like we want to do like a potential thing like weekly where we, you know, can pull people in on the mic. You know, and if some of these people would not be so nasty and out here saying stuff and just being weird about, you know, calling me grifter, tabloid, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, you come on the show and let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Instead of whatever it is people keep doing. What do you want me to say? I can't shake hands with somebody who's throwing mud in my eye. And a 72, Camille renews and goes member plus. Mike is welcome to drop by at noon on Thursdays anytime he wants. Yeah, we just need to set up the Discord and have trusted folks that can come in and do that. Like, they don't need a membership. They can just come in, you know, and jump on the stage and talk. Ooh, 591. 591. Somebody rejoining just bumped it. We're 9 away. I have a Split Fiction review coming tomorrow. I still have to make it, but my wife and I are at like a little over 10 hours. We're not going to be able to roll credits, sadly. We're 9 away. That is the closest we have ever been. Bringing back call-ins? I don't think so. No. I don't think we want to bring back call-ins. The difficulty with call-ins is there's only a handful of people. Camille upgraded? It said that Camille's been on Member Plus for 7 months. I don't think that's an upgrade. If it's an upgrade, I'll bump the line by one more. But it said on the back end that Camille had been on Member Plus for like 7 months. Mike's been doing that for longer than me, Ryan. I always wanted to do like a variety news show. I had a gift, I renewed, and it gave me partial credit. Oh, nice. So I guess I'll count that as 2 then. I'll bump the line to 73. There you go. Yeah, the problem with call-ins is there's only a handful of people that can do it and are willing, so you always end up talking to the same people. They have to have a microphone and a schedule that allows for it, and you know what I mean? It's like, so you end up having like the same, you know, handful of people that can do it. Doc is welcome to drop by at noon on Thursdays anytime he wants. Yeah, Mike's been doing the variety show for way longer. We didn't think we were ever going to be able to do it, and one day I just tried it on a whim. We had been doing something called Gaming News This Week on Fridays, just to summarize the week. I decided, let's just do Gaming News today and see how it goes, and it went well, and we've been doing it ever since. Now, we don't get as strong of a conversion and turnout on some topics and on some of the past broadcasts, but what we trade, I think, in having like a video and a thumbnail about a thing, I think we gain that by having uploads like the one that I'm going to send you guys to in 10 minutes. Now, if you guys want to extend, we can extend, but you've got to do it faster. You can't do buzzer extensions when we have a premiere like this because I have to reschedule it. So I would need to do it. We would need to extend in the next 5 minutes. If we hit 100 in the next 5 minutes, we'll keep it going. And let me pull up the questions that you guys have been submitting, starting with Jim D all the way down here. I haven't cleared out the question command in a while. Will you be checking out GTA 5 Enhanced on PC tomorrow? No, that's not something I would do. Stonespire, I missed the start of today's broadcast. What's going on with CD Projekt Red? They officially replied to some false claims that they had changed the look of Ciri in response to feedback. The CEO of CI Games, they're the company behind Lords of the Fallen, he falsely claimed that they had made edits to Ciri in response to negative feedback. I quickly called it out, made it very clear that it wasn't true, and so he just deleted his tweet. He didn't correct the public record. The people that tend to grift off of that topic aren't really interested in truth, so I didn't expect. Yes. The green room is directly after the premiere, yes. So that's a great reason to be a member plus or a VIP. The day does not stop. It does not stop. So, Mile High says, who currently owns a license to Swordman, and will we see some merch? I would love to do that. We were having some fun with that the other night, and, you know, Zuby was getting some amazing results from his prompts to Chat GPT. So it could be really fun. Is the Icon era thing true? What Icon era thing are you talking about? What premiere is happening? In 8 minutes, I have a video about Monster Hunter Wilds and why I believe it represents everything wrong with gaming right now. Former Bungie lead designer joins Guerrilla Games as design director. Chris Proctor, a longtime Bungie designer known for shaping some of Destiny 2's most iconic weapons, has officially joined Guerrilla Games as design director. I wonder if he's going to be helping them with the multiplayer, the co-op one or something, or just weaponry for the next game. They might want to look into more gun-based weaponry based off of how you end Forbidden West and you have that thing on your arm. Maybe they're going to want to lean into like maybe more modern weaponry, and they'll get him to help with some of the design. I'll get to a place where I can turn out merch really fast like that, but just not there yet. But trust, I'm working on making that a thing. I have an artist that we could work with as well that does really good work. He reached out. We had a long phone call. He apologized for everything in 2020 and how he wished he would have, stood up for me. And I was like, that's fine. I didn't expect anybody to do that. And so we could definitely get some cool merch designed if we want. So, but we're going to be going to this video in 7 minutes, and you guys supporting these videos is so super, super helpful. I mean, it really, really, truly is. And we try to dogpile on these to give them a good shot, because generally speaking, I am a live streamer, and we basically need to do both. We need to do uploads. We need to do, we need to do live. We need to do both. And we feel like putting it at the end of the day might help it, because at the beginning of the day, it used to seem to really help, but then more people were coming into the live show, which was pulling away from the upload. So we're hoping if we do it at the end of the day, it'll help the sub base just naturally want to watch it, since the live show is basically over. A smaller percentage if you hang out in Green Room, which most of you are going to watch the premiere anyway. A black shirt with the words Reforge Gaming over the right chest logo on the back, and the logo on the back is perfect. Yeah, we'll have merch like that. I've got a hoodie like that you can't get right now. If you made a sick premium hoodie, I'd get one. We have some pretty nice, we have some very nice hoodies on the Reforge Roast website, but they're not promoting Reforge Gaming, they're promoting the coffee. So, noonish is a good upload time because of lunch breaks. Yeah. Have a shirt that says, why say it if it's not true? Yeah, that's pretty good. Can we get 12 more likes on the video, guys? 400 likes is a great way to, kind of end a live show. Nice, strong turnout today. Honestly, today's turnout was fantastic, given the news was so slow. I mean, there's just not much going on. Tomorrow will be fun, though. Tomorrow will be fun. Split Fiction. And, yeah. We'll have that review hit at 11. I'm not sure how we're going to handle the live show tomorrow, though. I wonder if we could do a 2-hour show. No, we do morning coffee at 9. I wonder, do we just do a long morning coffee and then send people to the upload and then do the talk show after? But then we step on the then we step on the upload. I wonder if we just don't jump on at 11. do we just ride it, do the talk show, and then treat it like we're treating the upload today, right? And so it'll get pushed out at, 1 or something, or 1 or 1:30, which will be behind, but still, it'll probably have a better shot if we do that. Creature says, there are Reforge Gaming versions of those hoodies. I'm reworking that side of the web presence. Please be patient. We're only 2 people. Yeah, there's only so much we can do. You watching Daredevil tomorrow? I don't know. We were rewatching the show to kind of remind ourselves of everything that had happened, and they're only doing an episode a week, so we could probably just keep on keeping on, and then we wouldn't have to wait when it's finally time to dive in. But spoilers might be a concern, given what I do. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they're doing an episode a week, aren't they? So that kind of hurts. I like the one show a week. So we may just wait, and if I get spoilers, I get spoilers. Whatever. But they're going to do one show a week. That means we've got plenty of time. We want to finish Split Fiction, and then we'll probably end up doing streams with you guys. But given that we're probably going to roll credits on Split Fiction off stream, I don't know if I feel an impetus to dive on the game right now and play through the whole thing. And because that's extra content, man. That's our evening. So I kind of feel like that should be a member goal incentive or something. You just added Expedition 33 to your PlayStation wish list. Yeah, the previews came out and sounded pretty good. I told people I think that thing's got Game of the Year potential. I really, really do. I think it's got some strong potential. All right, guys. So in 2 minutes, I'm going to send you to this video about Monster Hunter Wilds being, basically, in my opinion, it represents everything wrong with gaming right now. And so we're going to go take a look at that together. I will be in the chat. I don't owe any members right now. We are 2 away from me owing 5 members. So we could kind of end on a bang here in the next 2 minutes. And then I'll gift the members over there. So that is available to you in the final waning moments here. Hit that final milestone. They're going to be running the episodes all the way until the middle of April. Yeah, see, that's plenty of time for my wife and I to... that's plenty of time for us to walk back through the show. Alex is going to he's going to bump the line to 74, and we're 1 away. And I'll owe you guys 5. And there it is, Stone Spire. Boom. 75. I owe you guys 5, and we will I'll do that over there. It's going to begin shortly. I am going to spam a link in chat. Guys, do me a favor, okay? Do me a favor. I know redirect isn't super reliable, so if you're here right now and you can hear my voice, you can see the chat, just click on the link in chat instead of writing redirect. Redirect is super unreliable, right? Let's just dogpile on this video. Give it 100 likes super quick. Leave a comment. Comments can sometimes get featured in the live environment, so that's a great reason to chime in. So I'm going to spam the link in chat, and I'm going to send you guys over here because it's starting right now. All right, I'll see you guys over there.